20 home runs over the last 8 games. The Red Sox have slugged their way back into first place in the AL East. Last night, all eyes were focused on Birdos. He made a magical return to the mound with a striking performance that could be a turning point for the ace and the team. Live from Fenway Park, NESN presents Boston Red Sox baseball. Tonight, the Red Sox take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, as always, joined by Jerry Remy. The rubber game of this 3-game series, and Tim Wakefield returns for the Red Sox.
Well, this would be a great accomplishment, Don, if the Red Sox can take 2 out of 3 from a very good ball club, the St. Louis Cardinals. And, of course, one thing to look for from Wakefield tonight, he did get hit in the ankle the last time, and that is his push-off ankle, the right ankle. He says it doesn't bother him, but we'll find out about that probably early in this ball game tonight.
He goes up against Garret Stephenson. We have the first pitch from Fenway after this. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by your Boston area Lexus dealers, and by Citizens Bank. And good evening, everybody. Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy back at Fenway Park as the Red Sox and the St. Louis Cardinals wrap up their 3-game series. Let's take a look at the visiting St. Louis Cardinals starting 9. Miguel Cairo leads it off at second base. Orlando Palmeiro in center field. Albert Pujols at first base. Jim Edmonds, the DH again tonight. Scott Rowland at third base. Edgar Renteria at shortstop. Eduardo Perez in left field. Mike Matheny, the Golden Glove catcher. And Kerry Robinson out in right field, bats 9th.
The defense tonight for the Red Sox, they'll have Bill Miller at third base, Nomar at shortstop, Todd Walker at second, and Kevin Millar at first. Left to right, Jeremy Giambi, Johnny Damon, and Trot Nixon. Doug Mirabelli behind the plate, and on the mound, Tim Wakefield. Wakefield with the record of 5-2. If he wins tonight, that'll give him 6. That'll tie him with Derek Lowe for the most wins out of Red Sox starting pitchers, the most wins on the team. Of course, last time out, Wakefield against Milwaukee got hit in that right ankle as he was hitting in interleague play and had to come out of the game after 2 innings. But he told me 2 days ago that it should be absolutely no problem for him. Now, if he was a power pitcher, that might be a different story.
The umpiring crew has Joe Brinkman, the veteran umpire behind the plate. Darrell Cousins at first, Mike DeMuro at second, and Andy Fletcher at third.
Let's take a look at tonight's game notes, brought to you by New England Toyota dealers. The Red Sox, 19 hits last night. That is a season high. 332 average and 62 runs in 8 interleague games this season. Red Sox doing much better in interleague baseball this year. And Garret Stephenson has his struggles this year, and in particular on the road. 0-3 with an ERA up near 6.
We're available. Tonight's broadcast can be heard in Spanish by using the SAP function on your TV set. And we are underway with strike 1 to Miguel Cairo. A pretty nice night here at Fenway Park after some cloudy conditions in the area most of the afternoon. And some intermittent sprinkles here during the afternoon, but right now mostly blue skies above. Miguel Cairo checks in at 252. And it'll bounce in 1-2. When the injury first took place last Friday in Milwaukee, it certainly looked like it was going to be one that would keep Wakefield out a while, as he left by way of a cart in Milwaukee and was able to bounce back. Was surprised how good it felt day 2. He did not swell as much as he thought it might.
I think he himself felt that ankle might be broke. He said when the trainer came out and touched it, he said he was in a tremendous amount of pain and was fearful that he had broke that thing.
Strikes out Cairo to begin his evening.
Quickly gets ahead of Cairo and puts him away with the knuckleball. And apparently doesn't appear to have any problems for Wakefield at all pushing off. And I mentioned if he's a power pitcher, a guy that really had to push off to get velocity, you might be more concerned. But with the knuckleball, should not be a problem.
1 down for Orlando Palmeiro, the center fielder. As he gets to start in center field tonight, Jim Edmonds still having some problems with his hamstring. So Edmonds for the 2nd straight night will be used as the DH for the Cardinals. Palmeiro quickly in the hole, 0-2. right center field for a base hit. So the first base runner of the night for the Cardinals is Orlando Palmeiro.
Once again, you can hear the cheers of the St. Louis fans that are here at Fenway Park, and there are really a load of them. The Red Sox tours over the last couple of days have been the largest they've ever had, and it's basically St. Louis fans who have been taking the tour of Fenway Park. Palmeiro gets the knuckleball and picks up the base hit.
I know there's usually a large contingent that comes down from New York against the Yankees, but I can't think of another team that has traveled this many fans.
Well, they get a great road trip. They get to Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium.
Albert Pujols standing in for the first time tonight takes strike one. He begins the night with the Major League's best batting average at .391. He's fifth in home runs. And swings away, lifting it to center field. Damon started in, now has to go back a step or two, and handles out number two.
Wakefield has faced the Cardinals in the past, but it's been a long time. Wake was in the National League with the Pirates, and the last time he faced them was 1993. So I don't believe any of these members were on the Cardinals at that time.
Here's Jim Edmonds at .312, 15 homers and 38 runs batted in. Edmonds benefiting from interleague play here, being able to be used as the DH with the hamstring troubles lately and not being able to play defense last night or tonight. But having the chance to stay in there as the Cardinals visit Fenway Park. .2-0 now to Edmonds.
He's had great success in his career against Wakefield. .471 with a home run.
On the ground, ranging is Walker, diving, stands up, throws him out. Nicely done as Walker lays it out at second base. Bottom of the first inning at Fenway. The Red Sox ready to come to the plate. Johnny Damon to lead it off. Todd Walker at second base. Garcia Parra at short. Ramirez the DH tonight. Millard first. Nixon in right. Miller at third. Giambi in left. Mirabelli does the catching. Garrett Anderson on the mound tonight for the Cardinals.
3-5 on the season. This will be start number 13. He has got less runs per start than any other Cardinal pitcher, so his numbers could be better. He's only getting just slightly over 4 runs per game when he makes a start. Has never faced the Red Sox. He had a terrible year a year ago with injuries that kept him on a disabled list a couple of different times.
This one fisted foul. Matheny gives chase, but it's back into the seats.
On the DL one time with a strained back, and then the second time with a strained hamstring. He eventually had surgery on that to remove dead muscle mass, whatever that is.
That's not a good thing.
No, that doesn't sound good, but they took that dead mass out of there, and he's okay now.
I want any dead muscle mass out of me taken out too, as this is popped up foul off the first base side. Tonight marks his 90th career start. In the air to center field. Palmeiro over and under, and there's one down.
The defense tonight for the Cardinals. Scott Rowland will be at third base. Edgar Renteria, the shortstop. Miguel Cairo at second, and Albert Pujols at first. Left to right, Eduardo Perez, Orlando Palmeiro, and Kerry Robinson. Mike Matheny back behind the plate. 3 Gold Glove winners in the lineup tonight. Renteria, Rowland, Matheny. And of course, one is a DH tonight, and another one on the disabled list, Jose Vidro.
In the air to left, off the bat of Todd Walker. Back goes Perez, front of the wall, and that'll grab some wall. The ricochet by Perez, and Walker will round second base. A one-out wall ball double.
One thing about this year's edition of the Boston Red Sox, they have left-handers who take advantage of the left field wall here at Fenway. Walker, Giambi can go the other way. David Ortiz can do the same thing. That ball right on top of the scoreboard gets by Perez, and the easy double for Todd Walker.
Here's Nomar, 326, 10 homers and 44 runs batted in. Garciaparra checks into the top 10 now. He's 10th in the American League in batting with his 326 batting average. And second in hits, just 2 behind Ichiro. The Yankees have already won today as they beat Houston 6-5. And as a result, the Red Sox and Yankees are tied to begin the ball game tonight. The Red Sox beginning the day a half game ahead of the Yankees, but with their victory against the Astros, they are tied 1-1. Nomar down in the count.
Good changeup there by Stephenson. Fastball, changeup, curveball. The Red Sox will see from the St. Louis right-hander.
Nomar sends it on the ground to Renteria. Has time and makes a good throw to get Nomar. 2 down. So the ball to shortstop. Remaining at second base is Walker. So runner in scoring position with 2 down, and the man who's made an art of driving in runners in this situation coming to the plate in Manny Ramirez.
And even early in the ball game here in the first inning, I'm sure they'll be very careful with Manny with first base open.
Manny at 325 as he rides a 10-game hitting streak, hitting at 462 during that time. Ramirez getting the night off defensively tonight as he is the DH. And it gives an opportunity for Jeremy Giambi to get in the lineup tonight and getting the starts offensively in left field for Boston. Now Matheny will head out and talk to Garrett Stephenson.
5 home runs for Manny in the last 6 games, currently on a 10-game hitting streak. Men in scoring position this year, hitting .409.
Facing 31-year-old Garrett Stephenson, who became a Cardinal as he was acquired from the Philadelphia Phillies with pitcher Ricky Bottalico in a trade for outfielder Ron Gant. Pitchers Jeff Brantley and Cliff Polite back in 1998. Stephenson's been a member of the Cardinals ever since.
There again we see Matheny setting off the plate just like they did the other night when Garciaparra was hitting. Not anywhere near the strike zone. Another fastball that's going to be outside again. They're hoping that Manny will chase a bad pitch, but Manny doesn't generally do that, and he knows what's going on right now.
Well, they say don't give him anything to hit. They mean business, as Matheny has been setting up way out and does again. So a 4-pitch walk won't go down as an intentional walk, but probably should. With first base vacant, and they'll take their chances with Kevin Millar. Millar up over 300 at 302. 10 homers and 44 runs batted in. Over the last 13 games, he's banged in 20 runs. He's had 11 RBIs in the last 4 games. Joins both Manny Ramirez and Nomar Garciaparra in the 40-plus RBI club with the Red Sox this season. Manny has 49 RBIs, Nomar with 44. And Kevin Millar with 44 now. And many of those have come with 2 outs. There's only one behind Manny who has 19 to lead the team in 2-out RBIs. Misses to Millar. 2-1. It's Stephenson 3-5 as he heads into tonight's action. 2 on, 2 outs, last of the first inning. Well, Stephenson behind 3-1. Well, the Red Sox were able to get to the starter last night for the St. Louis Cardinals early in the game as the Red Sox put a 7 spot on the board in the second inning. And a chance here to grab some runs in the first. Ball 4 to Millar. Back-to-back walks from Garret Stephenson to load the bases with 2 down.
That's almost like trying to throw the ball outside to Ramirez, trying not to throw him strikes, affected him with the next hitter. Then he couldn't throw strikes to Millar.
So bases loaded, 2 down for Trot Nixon. Nixon hitting at .356 over the last 12 games, .305 for the season. And he takes strike 1. There's 13 hits so far in the month of June. 9 of those 13 hits have been for extra bases, including 5 home runs, 1 triple, and 3 doubles. Just a jackknife back out of the way of that pitch. Line foul down beyond canvas alley and right. Nixon well out ahead of that pitch, and it's 1-2. In the 7 road starts Stephenson's had, the Cardinals are just 1-6. Strikes out Nixon in a clutch situation here in the bottom of the first. Red Sox leave them loaded. No score at the end of 1. Back at Fenway, no score at the end of 1. The Red Sox unable to take advantage of a bases loaded situation with 2 down. And it's Scott Rowland to lead it off, former Rookie of the Year. Rowland at .304, 12 homers and 51 runs batted in. Part of a stacked lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals. Finds himself down quickly, 0-2. Cardinals lead the National League with a .341 batting average in the month of June. Granted, it's only 9 games, but they come in the overall leader in batting average in the NL. Lined and caught by Nomar in the air for out number 1.
I'm not sure Nomar saw this ball right off the bat. It looked like a delayed reaction by Garciabarra, and the ball was really hit hard by Scott Rowland. Watch Nomar. There's a late reaction, and then he goes into the dive to make the catch. I'm not quite sure he saw that ball immediately off the bat of Scott Rowland.
1 away. Here's Edgar Renteria. Another fine shortstop, showing bunt, taking the strike. It's at .333. This club collectively hitting at .289 to lead the National League. They're 2 points better now than the Atlanta Braves. The Red Sox are the American League leader and Major League leader at .299. Red Sox just 1 point shy of the 300 mark as a team. So 2 very good offenses going head-to-head again tonight. There's a strike, and it evens up at 2-2.
No way Wakefield was going to give him with the fastball there on the 3-0 count against this kind of a hitter.
Foul back to the backstop. Well, last night, 13-1, the Red Sox with the victory. The Cardinals suffering their worst loss since 2001 against the Cleveland Indians, a 14-2 loss. This is one hopper to third. Bill Miller handles it. The good throw, and there's 2 down.
Well, H.P. Hood is rooting for the Red Sox and kids throughout New England. Each time the Red Sox strike out an opponent, make a double play, or hit a home run at Fenway, Hood donates $100 to the Hood Home Team Advantage Fund, which in turn benefits children's hospitals all over New England.
Two down, 4 in a row. Retired by Tim Wakefield. Eduardo Perez, the son of Tony Perez, who's played in all 3 games of this series. Tonight he gets to start in left field. It's at .317, 3 homers and 10 runs batted in. Cut from Perez, who is ahead 2-0. It's 2-1.
And Perez with 3 home runs on the season on that 2-0 count. He was looking for number 4.
He's looking to send that all the way back to St. Louis with that swing. 3-1 now. Now the Cardinals' usual 3-4-5 hitters, Pujols, Edmonds, and Roland, have batted a combined .422. The last 15 games. This team has been swinging at all cylinders. Mirabelli moves over but will have no play. About 3 rows out of his reach. And Pujols, Edmonds, and Roland together again tonight in the 3-4-5 spots. Two down, nobody on. Tim Wakefield has 1 strikeout tonight. He's ready with the payoff pitch. And he'll miss. The first walk of the night for Tim Wakefield.
It's interesting watching that shot in the dugout. Edmonds and Pujols talking, and what they're doing is they're watching Wakefield and they're studying him, see if they can pick up something different, some kind of different motion, movement out of his glove when he throws maybe the fastball, the breaking ball, something different than the knuckleball.
Does he do much differently in your eyes if it's the pitch?
I can't pick it up, obviously, but that's something hitters are always trying to do. There's usually one guy on every team that's very good about picking up different things off pitches, and very quickly that'll spread around. Now, you see Edmonds going through that right now. Edmonds is a guy that's always hit him pretty well, so maybe he does know something.
0-1 is popped up foul. Back and out of play. Edmonds, when he was a member of the Angels at one point, was not one of the more popular guys in the clubhouse at times. Was a little bit outspoken, and when he left Anaheim, there were some that were glad to see him go in some instances, but has always been a terrific player and really done very well with the Cardinals. Matheny strikes out to end the inning. Second strikeout for Wakefield. Inning and a half done, no score. Bottom of the second inning back at Fenway as Tim Wakefield enjoys his first 2 innings tonight. A scoreless game into the bottom of the second inning. And the bottom third of the Red Sox order. Bill Miller, Jeremy Giambi, and Doug Mirabelli. Miller at .359, 4 homers and 24 runs batted in. And he is second behind Melvin Mora in the American League in batting average. Mora, an amazing .370 on the year for the Baltimore Orioles. I wonder what Melvin Mora is doing differently in 2003 than he's done in the past.
Hitting.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Miller pulled me over today, and he wanted to know about the St. Louis Blues coach that Tom had on last night, the guy that you worked with, because he is a huge St. Louis Blues fan, and he was hoping to get a chance to meet him.
Really? This is knocked down at second base. Bill Miller able to beat it out. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Bob's Stores, by Coors Light, and by Volvo.
Jeremy Giambi.
They have not yet ruled on that play at second base.
I would think that would have to go as an error on Cairo.
I would agree with you. Either way, Miller stands at first base. Jeremy Giambi stands in.
You know what the official scorer is probably waiting for? The replay.
Yeah.
And they look at the replay a lot to determine whether it is a hit or an error on something questionable.
Well, there goes the error slide. They do charge Miguel Cairo with an error. Giambi waves at that pitch. Yeah, that is Joel Quenneville, the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, who has done a terrific job with the Blues over the last few years and did coach the Springfield Indians in Springfield. He has a home here, I understand, during the offseason. Spends the winters in St. Louis. Brian Daubon is a huge St. Louis Blues fan.
Well, if you're listening tonight and you get back out to Fenway, check down Bill Miller. He'd love to meet you because he is a huge hockey fan and a huge St. Louis Blues fan.
And we'll hopefully be talking to Joel soon, and we'll pass that along. And 2-1 to Giambi. Softly hit towards Cairo. He can atone for the error as he begins the double play. 2 down.
Well, game time is Miller time at Fenway and on NESN. Stop by a participating Fenway area retailer before the game, and you can win free tickets to the game. End up on NESN in the game time is Miller time Fenway seats.
So 2 away, and it brings up Doug Marabelli. Does the catching for Tim Wakefield in there tonight to work in that capacity. Marabelli, who has played recently less, it's a .253, 2 homers and 9 runs batted in.
Well, we mentioned the home runs last night against Tomko. 14 allowed by Stephenson. That puts him in a tie for 3rd in the American League. Sheets of Milwaukee's given up 20. Tomo Oka of Montreal's given up 15.
With the way balls were flying out of Milwaukee, I'm not surprised to hear that about Ben Sheets. Whatever reason, they were flying out of that ballpark all of a sudden.
Mix in a sinker once in a while.
That could help too. This is struck pretty well towards the wall and left, and it's going to kick off the wall quickly to Palmeiro. Marabelli's still going to try for 2, and he's going to be very out. The ricochet was too hard. He hit it too hard, and he's thrown out at second base.
Top of the 3rd, and the time to try to stretch a single into double to get into scoring position is 2 outs. That's what Marabelli does. But one has to know one speed. And I think for a split second, Doug thought he was Carl Lewis.
Here's Gary Robinson for the first time tonight. He wears 0 on his back. Robinson getting the start in right field tonight. Seen him come on defensively a few times in this series. It's at 186.
A strange defense put on by the Red Sox. They are pretty much straight up with the exception of Giambi in left field. There is a lot of room in left center field.
1-2 is swung on and missed. He strikes him out. So Wakefield struck out Matheny to end the 2nd. He opens the 3rd with a strikeout of Robinson.
The Houston Astros come to Fenway for the first time ever this weekend. Game time 7:05 Friday and Saturday nights 2:05 on Sunday. Bring down to Sunday's game for a post-game Father's Day catch on the Fenway Park field presented by Fleet Bank. Tickets are available 24 hours a day toll-free at 877 Red Sox 9 at redsox.com or during business hours at Fenway Park.
Here's Miguel Cairo, who has enjoyed his time at Fenway Park. The 0-1 will skip away. We saw Cairo here with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at one point. Also as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays playing here, both Toronto and Tampa Bay, for Miguel Cairo before stopping in St. Louis. Also mixed in a stop with the Chicago Cubs. It's the 1-2 foul back into the seats down the left field line.
For Cairo, this is the 15th game that he's been in the leadoff spot with Vigna on the DL, and he's hit .250 from the leadoff spot. Most of the time with Tampa, we saw him down toward the bottom of the lineup.
Line to left and a base hit for Miguel Cairo. Just the second hit of the night for the Cardinals.
Center fielder, number 16, Orlando Palmeiro.
Not much dance on that knuckleball from Wakefield. Just kind of floated up to home plate, and Cairo picks up the base hit with 1 out.
1 out, 1 on. Orlando Palmeiro singled to center field his first time up. He has 1 of 2 Cardinals hits tonight. There goes on the first pitch. Cairo towards second. The throw down is not going to be in time. So they're running on Wakefield, which most teams try to do, and Cairo off on the first pitch.
As we mentioned, this club's 13th in the league in steals. They don't run very much, but they certainly will try it against Wakefield. Very good jump there by Cairo. The throw a little bit high at second, and he gets himself into scoring position. Thirteenth in the American League would be next to last, but 13th in the National League. There are 16 teams in the National League, and the Mets are number 16 in steals.
And they fired their general manager today, Steve Phillips.
I thought that happened a long time ago.
It's kind of surprising that he lasted as long as he did, as this one is punched at, bunted down the third baseline. Wakefield's going to let it roll, and unfortunately for him, it stays on the grass and a fair ball.
Well, you know, most of the time you like to see a hitter with a man at second swing away, try to drive that run in. But when you look at this lineup, now you get Pujols and Edmonds coming to the plate. So really not that bad of a play. Now the question is, was he out of the batter's box when he bunted that? If he is, he should be out. Take one more look. Watch his back foot. Is that thing behind home plate? If it is, it's out of the batter's box. Here's another look. He should be out.
Wow.
Whether you bunt it fair or foul, if you have 1 foot out of the box, you're out.
You're definitely right about that, as it is fouled off at the plate by Pujols.
I'm surprised there was nobody questioned that.
Runners at the corners, 1 down, and the 0-1. Missed away.
Take one more look at that bunt now. This would be the line here. Look where his foot is. That should be an out.
Instead, runners at the corners and 1 out. Grounded left side. The high hop for Nomar. Trouble getting it out at first. To second for 1. On to first, but not in time. And in from third comes Cairo. And the game's first run as the Cardinals lead it 1-0.
I'll tell you what, Walker really vulnerable here to get cleaned out at second base. There's the play by Nomar. He double clutched out of the glove, and right on top of him is that base runner. He knows he's got to get rid of it quick, or he's going to get wiped out at second.
That has to kind of be a lonely feeling when you can't see the runner.
Your back is to the runner most of the time, obviously, as a second baseman, and you can hear him coming, but you're not quite sure how close they are to you.
Jim Edmonds grounded out to second base the first time. Lines to right. Nixon diving and making the catch. No, he dropped it. Nixon cannot make the catch. And on to third goes Pujols. So Edmonds will stop at first base on a good bid by Nixon. And apparently he could not hold on in right.
Boy, I'd like to see, I'm anxious to see where this ball popped out. It looked like he had it in the glove. Goes into the dive. It's in the glove and then just rolled right out. You could see it coming out from under his arm. Good call, obviously, by the umpire, but one heck of an effort by Trot Nixon.
So runners at the corners now, and another opportunity for the Cardinals with 2 down. Scott Rowland lined out to shortstop his first time. I think the pitchers really appreciate the effort that Trot Nixon gives night in and night out.
Look, any pitcher, if you have outfielders and infielders that are willing to get their uniform dirty and dive, there's not much you can say to them except thank you.
On the corner for a strike, 1-1. He slipped in a 76-mile-an-hour pitch that time. Pujols at third, Edmonds at first. A run in for the Cardinals. And this will miss. Again, Steve Phillips today was fired by the New York Mets. Art Howe still in place there as the manager. They named an interim general manager in Jim Duquette, the cousin of former Red Sox general manager Dan Duquette. Big cut there for Rowland, and it evens up at 2-2. So a change in the guard for the Mets today, and certainly they have struggled through yet another season. Mets 28-35 heading into tonight's action. 15 games off the pace behind the Braves. The 2-2. Check swing, grounded, foul. Very intense. Tony La Russa looking on down there in the rubber game of the 3-game series. The 2-2. Got in. Big strikeout for Wakefield to conclude the third. The Cardinals get one and lead it 1-0. Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy back at Fenway. 1-0. Cardinals on top. Damon to lead it off. And grounds it foul outside at first. Damon flied to center field his first time up. And has been hitting much better. Very nice night for him last night. He's sitting at .333 in the last 6 games. Damon with 4 hits last night. Was 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position last night. Strike 3 to Damon. He disagrees, but he'll walk away with a second strikeout for Stephenson. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by your Lincoln Mercury dealers, by LoJack, and by Aflac. One away for Todd Walker. Doubled his first time up. Walker has one of 2 Boston hits tonight. Sends it to right. Kerry Robinson coming in and makes the catch. Didn't react right away, but is able to recover and makes the catch for out number 2. Let's check in with Tom Caron. Tom?
A couple of new faces at batting practice today, but no contracts offered yet, as far as you know. Tom Brady, Lori Malloy. How'd it go out there today?
We're still trying to make contact. Forget the contract. It was fun.
Now, you finally jacked one out. You were telling me 4 or 5 swings, but I think we counted a little higher than that.
Or a few more than that. I think probably ended up being in the 30s. But, God, you don't realize how tired you get out there swinging that bat and taking all those hard cuts.
You guys are both drafted. People might not realize that. You're both pretty good baseball players, and you both chose a pretty good bat. The guy who just hit the ball. You had a Nomar bat, right?
Yeah. Nomar's my friend, man, and I see him testing the Green Monster all the time. So obviously I wanted to, try to take it up to the plate with me, but it didn't work.
Now you went around pesky pole. You just it cuts in pretty good over there on the right side, doesn't it?
Yeah, I kept telling the pitcher to throw me inside so I could turn on one and get it to the shortest part of the park. So I finally got one out. It took a while, but getting one out and ending on that one was a great time.
So give me the quick scouting report. You tell me how he did.
I think he did pretty good for a quarterback, but like I said, I told him earlier that they moved the right side of the field a little bit in for him. That's what they do for the quarterbacks. So they want their personalities to stay high.
Rebuttal, Tom?
I'd say if I were him, I'm glad I'm a strong safety and not a shortstop. And, you know, if he were on my baseball team, he'd be my pinch runner because he's pretty fast. I'll give him that. But I don't know if he'd be my DH.
All right, guys, enjoy the night.
All right, man.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Tom, thanks very much. Did you see his home run?
Actually, I watched both of them take batting practice, and they're pretty good. And with a little bit more batting practice, they'd be very good. I think he's being... he hit the ball pretty good, did Brady. That ball wasn't wrapped around the pole. He put it down way past pesky pole in that deep part of the bleachers. And that was toward the end where he was pretty tired. So they're both good. You know, most of the guys who come out and hit really are lousy, but they are good.
You get a lot of celebrities from time to time who jump in the cage, and there are some terrible swings. But I think Grady put it best. So those are two very good athletes. You can tell right away.
Now, he has kind of a Jim Edmonds swing, slight uppercut from the left side.
Yeah.
And he's trying to lift everything out of the ballpark. And you could see with some additional batting practice, both guys could get a hit in the big leagues.
Ramirez walked his first time up. Bats with Nomar standing in first, 2 down, bottom of the 3rd inning. And on the corner for a strike.
Brady's a big guy. I didn't realize. I mean, I knew he was big, but I didn't realize he was that big.
I always see him standing next to Bledsoe there in that first season, and it didn't seem like he was very big, but now you see him, and he is very big. And Warren Malloy's actually bigger than I thought he was. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 for Garrett Stephenson. His 3rd K ends the inning. We played 3, 1-0 Cardinals. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, by Jeep, and by Samuel Adams Boston Lager. 1-0 Cardinals on top as we move to the top of the 4th inning. And it'll be Edgar Renteria to lead it off. A good vantage point down there. Is beautiful night here tonight at Fenway. Blue skies above, and Renteria pops this one up foul back into our right. Grounded out to 3rd base his first time up. Well, the Yankees were no hit last night. Took what, 6 pitchers to do it for the Houston Astros, but a tough day, I would think, to be Brian Cashman, as the Yankees certainly have faltered lately, and then to have your team no hit. A tough position anyway, I think, working for George Steinbrenner day in and day out. But wow, tough night last night for Yankee hitters.
Well, it didn't have a hangover effect. They came back to win today, 6-5 against Houston.
To left, Giambi on the move, won't get there. This one will get through to the track and the wall. Renteria scampering to second base with a leadoff double here in the top of the 4th inning.
Renteria looking to move to 2nd in the league in hitting. He's about 11 points behind Sheffield, who is 2nd behind Pujols. Finds the gap there, and now 1 for 2 on the night. He was 1 for 9 against Wakefield prior to that at bat.
There's Eduardo Perez, who walked his first time, the only walk given up tonight by Tim Wakefield. Showing bunt and taking ball 1. Wakefield showed no ill effects of the ball that went off his ankle in Milwaukee last week. Hobbled around pretty good day 1 after, and then again on Sunday. But offered himself up to come out of the bullpen in a pinch and was available, and then making his start here tonight. Chopped right side. Walker with no play at 3rd, so he fires to first to get Perez, and Renteria goes on to 3rd. Well, it's time now for our Aflac trivia question. And the question tonight, who is the only Red Sox to play in the 46 World Series and coach in the 67 World Series? Both, of course, against the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll have the answer for you in the next half inning.
I think I know that answer, and I think he was a second baseman.
Mike Matheny, his strikeout victim his first time. The Red Sox bring the infield in all the way around with Renteria standing at third and one out.
I also think the answer to that trivia question has his number retired.
I think you are correct on both fronts. Down low, gets away from Mirabelli. Renteria is going to try it, and he is in. So one that gets away from Mirabelli, and in from third base comes Renteria with the second St. Louis run, and the Cardinals lead it 2-0.
Now that's always the danger with a man at third base and the knuckleball on the mound. Got the glove on it, but right underneath the glove, right through the 5-hole, and the second run comes across for the Cardinals. Look at Renteria. He was going back toward third base, but then got himself going in the right direction and scores the run.
They charge Mirabelli with the pass ball that allows Renteria to score. So the base is empty now, and the 2-0 in there for a strike to Matheny.
By the way, you can give some credit to Eduardo Perez for that run. He's the guy that moved that runner along to third base with the ground out to the right side of the infield. Doesn't show up in the box score tomorrow, but obviously a good at bat for Perez.
Ball 4 to Matheny. The second walk of the night given up by Tim Wakefield.
Right fielder.
Well, Dave Wallace getting to know his pitching staff here, the interim pitching coach for the Red Sox, and I wonder if he'll be like a lot of the other pitching coaches that have been here in Boston during Tim Wakefield's tenure and really not being able to help him very much because the pitch is such a specialty pitch.
That's interesting, Don. You were mentioning the no-hitter last night, 6 pitches. I was on a team that was no-hit by 4 pitches. 4 pitches from the Oakland Athletics in 1975. They were getting primed to go to the playoffs, and they had some guys just getting work in on the last day of the season, and they no-hit us.
How about that? Former Red Sox fireman Peter Monroe was part of those pitchers last night. This has popped up. The number 9 hitter Kerry Robinson left side. Nomar calling and catching out number 2.
Kerry Robinson, he looks a little shaky against that knuckleball. Struck out that first time up with a pretty bad swing, and that time instead of waiting around to 2 strikes, has that little pop up the shortstop.
Here's the top of the order. Miguel Cairo singled his last time up, came around to score. He's 1 for 2. Thought about swinging, but takes a strike anyway. Lunging after that pitch, and it's 0-2. 66 pitches for Tim Wakefield so far, 45 strikes.
If Matheny were to go, be more likely be a delay steal.
In the air to left field, Giambi headed back. This will take him almost to the track as he pulls it in for the final out. The Cardinals add to their total and lead it 2-0. Back at Fenway with the Cardinals on top now, 2-0, out hitting Boston 5-3. Red Sox coming up here in the last of the 4th. Kevin Millar, Trot Nixon, and Bill Miller face Garrett Stephenson. Millar walked his first time, and at the time it loaded the bases, but Stephenson was able to come back and strike out Trot Nixon. The Red Sox left him loaded in the first inning. about it. They did not offer. And it's 2-1 now to Kevin Millar. Right-handed opponents batting at .242 against Garrett Stephenson coming in. As Millar sprees it foul off the right side. 2-2.
I believe, though, the right-handers have had 10 of the 14 home runs he's allowed this season.
That is true. He's lost 3 straight decisions, and his last 4 outings, his ERA has been at a 6.08, so it's been up there. So he's given up 16 earned runs in 23 2/3 innings pitched coming into tonight's action. Walks Millar. And the Red Sox have the lead man on for just the second time tonight. Let's check out the game summary so far in this one. As Miguel Cairo is a single and a run. Edgar Renteria double. Albert Pujols with his 54th RBI places him 3rd in the National League. Tim Wakefield 4 innings. So far giving up 2 runs. 1 is earned. And Stephenson so far 3+ shutout innings. He has now walked 3 with the most recent walk to Kevin Millar to begin this inning. Here's Nixon, who struck out with the bases loaded back in the first inning. Nixon's been hot lately, especially over the last 12 games. And Stephenson behind 2-0.
It's going to happen to him back in the first inning. Even though he was not trying to throw strikes to Ramirez, he followed with the walk to Millar. Had a tough time picking up the strike zone, but then he came back and struck out Nixon. Dave Duncan, long time at the side of Tony La Russa, pitching coach.
Nixon pops this up foul. Perhaps a chance for Matheny, who comes back. He's got a chance, and the catch. We're out number 1. So Nixon frustrated with his at-bat so far tonight.
Number 11.
Well, it's time now for the answer to our athletic trivia question tonight. And the question was, who is the only Red Sox to play in the 46 World Series and coach in the 67 World Series, both against the Cardinals? Bobby Doerr, the answer. Jerry had it right. At 409 was 9 for 22 with a home run and 3 RBIs in 1946. And you may wonder what his association was in 67. He was the first base coach for the 67 club, and of course his number retired here at Fenway.
Yeah, Bobby Doerr, one of the real gentlemen in the game of baseball. The third base coach was Eddie Popowski on that 67 team. Well, Pop used to get those foul balls and throw them behind his back to the pitcher and over his shoulder and between his legs and all kind of different things.
A 2-0 pitch to Bill Miller. He'll miss. 3-0. Seems like Stephenson's been behind a fair number of Red Sox hitters. He has walked 3, but has struck out 3, and works with 1 out and 1 on. He's thrown 60 pitches so far here tonight. And walks Miller on 4 pitches. So the 4th walk of the night given up by Stephenson. The Red Sox have 2 on, both via the walk. There's 1 out, and Giambi makes his way to the plate, and Dave Duncan makes his way to the mound.
Well, now with 4 walks, he has 37 walks on the season. Just a few less than strikeouts, and that's in 76 innings now. So that has been a problem for him.
Left fielder, number 25, Jeremy Giambi.
Well, Jeremy Giambi had the misfortune of grounding into a double play his first time up. And now over the last 13 games, Jeremy has fallen to 2 for 22. And has not had a chance to play very much, certainly since interleague play has started. And with the Red Sox on the road having to use pitchers to bat in that series. Pickoff play appeared to be on as Renteria was cutting towards the bag, but Stephenson came homeward with the pitch and missed ball one. One and one.
It's interesting. Yesterday, prior to the game, Giambi was looking at the numbers against Tomko, and they had him 2 for 5, I think, with a couple of home runs against Tomko, and he says that can't be me. That's going to be my brother. I don't think he recalled having those kind of numbers against Tomko.
Fouled off back below us.
I double checked, and on all the stat sheets I saw, though, it was Jeremy Giambi, so apparently he didn't remember.
Still 1-2 to Giambi. Well, the Cardinals after the ball game will travel to New York to begin a 3-game series with the Yankees over the weekend at Yankee Stadium, and Jimmy Williams and the Houston Astros will be beginning tomorrow night, first of 3 against Houston.
Well, if Jimmy's already in town, I guarantee you he's at some nice steakhouse right now, getting a big porterhouse.
Well, he knows where to go, at least in this town.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him over the weekend. Last time we saw Jimmy was in that exhibition game down in Houston a couple of years ago.
And he was just getting started at that point with the Astros in his first spring training with them. Did he go? Yes, he did. In fact, Joe Brinkman rings him up from behind the home plate. Looked like he was going to appeal, and
he did appeal, and the third base umpire said no, he didn't go.
Brinkman was sort of emphatic as he came up with the right arm to go down to third, and it looked like he rung him up. Now they're talking it over down there.
Let's see what Brinkman does here.
Watch Brinkman.
Yeah, he rings him up, and Matheny, who got the call from the third base umpire said no, he didn't go. Watch this. So we have some confusion.
Yeah. I'm glad we had a replay because I thought I was losing it.
Well, now Brinkman looks like he wants to send Giambi back to the dugout.
Can he overrule?
You see, the third base umpire has to, the home plate umpire has to ask for help. He didn't do that. It was the catcher, Matheny, that pointed out for the help, and that's when the third base umpire gave him the help. But Brinkman never asked for it.
No, Brinkman rung him up.
That's right. So he's probably going to be out.
Yeah. I only watched him, and he is out.
Now watch Brinkman. He emphatically makes the call. Okay. Now watch the catcher. He's asking for the help, not Brinkman. And Fletcher a little quick to the draw down at third base to give the he didn't swing sign. So they totally ignore that, and they stay with Brinkman's decision, which they should, because Brinkman has to ask for the help. He didn't.
Well, Doug Mirabelli standing in with 2 outs. Runners at first and second. Millar at second. Miller at first. And that's something you see every day right there. Now they will appeal, and Brinkman does look down to first base. And Watt cheer goes up at Fenway.
Well, you know, Joe felt that he had a good view of the swing, and he felt like he could make the call. And he certainly did. The guy that made him look bad was Fletcher, because he responded to Matheny. They'll get over it.
Mirabelli tried to Stretch a base hit into a double last time up off the wall with 2 outs in the inning, and the second was gunned down at second base. And he has a home run in his career against Garret Stephenson. 2 outs, 2 on here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Red Sox down 2-0. And Marabelli ahead in the count, 3-1. Red Sox now 19-10 at home at Fenway, second best home winning percentage in the American League, only behind Oakland. The A's are 20-8. The 3-1, and that is ball 4. The 3rd walk of the inning, surrendered by Garret Stephenson, and it loads the bases with 2 down. There's no one to blame but himself for this mess.
Number 18.
Well, what a time, too, for Johnny Damon. You know, Johnny last night, 4 for 6, 4 hits in the game. And the way you break out of a slump is not with one night, but put a couple back-to-back. At least get 1 or 2 tonight. What an opportunity here with the bases loaded.
Down and in to Damon, ball 1. The Red Sox left them loaded in the 1st inning. And Stephenson was able to come back to strike out Nixon after back-to-back walks. And this time he falls behind 2-0. The shortstop Renteria in to talk to Stephenson as he goes back behind the mound. Now he come back up on top of the hill. A good spot here for Johnny Damon. Bases loaded, 2 outs, the 2-0. Strike 1. Up top for ball 3. As a result of all these walks, Stephenson had not thrown a lot of pitches early. He's up to 76 now. Bases filled with Red Sox. The 3-1. Strike 2 and a full count. And Stephenson now just a strike from getting out of his second bases loaded jam.
Well, the high strike call there by Brinkman above the belt. And a nice job of framing that by Matheny. Tuck that glove back in toward the corner of the plate.
The 3-2 pitch. Damon swinging and popping it up left side. Renteria is there, and he's got it. The Red Sox leave them loaded for the second time tonight. Cardinals on top 2-0. Back at Fenway, the Red Sox trail the Cardinals 2-0. The Red Sox have had some opportunities in this one as they have left them loaded twice in this ball game. The Red Sox have left a total of 7 men on through the first 4 innings. Orlando Palmeiro to lead it off. He's got 2 hits tonight, a single to center and an infield hit to third. The strike has him in the hole, 0-2. Right back at Wakefield, who catches it in the air. Wow. Tim Wakefield grabs that one for out number 1.
Well, we've mentioned it many times, but because of the velocity of the knuckleball, Wakefield always in good fielding position. Squared up with home plate and takes that line drive about ankle high. I think if he didn't catch it, it probably hits the same ankle that the pitcher did in Milwaukee.
Albert Pujols is 0 for 2. Fly to center and is grounded out. Chopped down the third baseline, snared by Miller, sets and fires, dug out by Millar on the other side. Great play at both ends of the diamond. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Crown Royal, by New England Toyota dealers, and by Citizens Bank. It's a pretty good defense tonight for the Red Sox.
Now they tell infielders work from the ground up, and that's exactly right there what Bill Miller does. Quick hands at third base. A nice pick at the other end by Kevin Millar. Think that St. Louis coach would like him as a goaltender after seeing that?
Bill Miller with a fine play down there at third base. 2 down. Jim Edmonds standing in 1 for 2. Edmonds the DH tonight. Second straight night he's been used in that capacity. On the ground to Walker. Wakefield enjoys the 1-2-3 top of the 5th. Halfway through this one, 2-0 Cardinals. Back at Fenway, 2-0. The Cardinals on top as Todd Walker leads it off. It'll be Walker, Garcia-Parra, and Ramirez. Face Garrett Stephenson here in the bottom of the 5th. This one bouncing its way in. 1-1 to Todd Walker, who doubled in the first inning, lined out sharply to right in the 3rd inning. Corner for strike 2. 2-2 now to Walker. Rick Stephenson last year was 2-5 with a 5.40 ERA in 12 games. I mentioned earlier, he made 2 different trips to the DL. First with a back strain, then a strained hamstring. It's kind of a lost season for him all in all. Walker fouls off the 3-2.
You mentioned earlier about the change in general managers in New York and Jim Duquette interim. I wonder if Dan Duquette would be considered for that position with the Mets. Be interesting.
That's an interesting thought. In the air to left field. Eduardo Perez heading back. This will carry him to the turn of the track, and he can't make the catch. Looked a little lost on the play leading up to that. As he got spun around, it kicks off him, and Walker stands at second base.
Perez not familiar at all with left field and really had plenty of room back there. But once again, he gets on that warning track. He thinks he's closer to the wall than he actually is. He'll go into the jump, but he still had about 4 or 5 feet to go before he gets to the wall. See, now he feels the track. That's a big warning track. And I think he's stunned when he turns around and sees how much room he's got.
Walker stands at second base. Here's Nomar is 1 for 2. And it's fouled off the right side. Perez charged with a 2-base error out there in left field. The second error of the night for the Cardinals. Now, between walks and errors, the Red Sox have had their share of opportunities in this game but have not been able to cash in on either front. Nomar pops it up. Foul. Matheny comes back and will not have a play. It's Stephenson walking 5 through the first 4 innings, but the Red Sox have nothing to show for it, as none have been costly for Stephenson. Backs up Nomar Garcia-Parra. There's a saying that I always enjoyed that Bob Starr used to have. When the pitcher would walk this many early and get out of it each time, he would say that he's working without a net. And that is the case here tonight for Garrett Stephenson, who has walked a lot tonight. Strikes out Nomar, and there is strikeout number 5. It's time now for the Heineken What's on Tap tomorrow night on UPN 38, the first game of the Astros-Red Sox series in Boston, outside of Boston on NESN. Only on NESN Saturday night is what come to you from the Monster seats. And then on Sunday, WBZ Channel 4 is the game in Boston, NESN outside of Boston, with a start time at 2 o'clock, three-game series against the Astros. Manny Ramirez 0 for 1 with a walk.
That last strikeout against Garcia-Parra coming on the over-the-top changeup. That's been a very good pitch for Stephenson tonight. Now, this is similar to that at bat back in the first inning. Same thing. I mean, Matheny, if you watch him set up, he will not set up anywhere near the outside corner. And I'll say one thing, Stephenson's hit his spots. Watch Matheny move out here. Set up. And here comes the fastball away.
What do you think? One more?
I would say so, yeah. I wouldn't try to trick him.
I wonder why you wouldn't just intentionally walk him. You think he's going to go after that, maybe? Or?
That's a possibility. You know, instead of just standing there, I mean, La Russa has the confidence in the pitcher. He has to have the confidence, and he's not going to throw a strike. I mean, he's a good 4 or 5 inches off that outside edge, and he's just hoping that maybe one of these hitters gets impatient and swings at it and makes a foolish out. Didn't happen. Same thing as an intentional walk.
Two on, one away. Kevin Millar has done the same thing twice tonight. That's walk. And he takes strike one. I'd like to welcome today's visitors to the Dunkin' Dugout. Dunkin' Donuts proud to host area youth and charity organizations at every Red Sox home game. There they are out there enjoying tonight's third game of the three-game series against the Cardinals. And as always, we'd like to thank Dunkin' Donuts for providing everybody with refreshments, and Dunkin' Donuts here in the booth. Two on, one away. Kevin Millar with a count of 1-1 against Garret Stephenson. Walk to Manny Ramirez was the 6th walk given up tonight by Garret Stephenson. The Red Sox have been held to 3 hits so far. That's quite a task in itself. In the dirt, and Matheny does a very good job of trapping it. 3-1 to Millar.
And it's interesting the way they're pitching to Manny tonight. I would imagine happens quite often to Bonds in the National League. And both guys, tremendous discipline, and very seldom will chase a pitch like that.
A strike, and Millar gets the news late from Joe Brinkman. He took a step towards first.
Joe, a couple of times tonight, at least he's been consistent with it. He's called the high strike. That ball above the belt, but clearly within the strike zone.
And now Matheny pops up as he works a little bit on his equipment, the left shin guard. Kevin Millar's walked twice tonight, batting with 2 on, 1 away here in the last of the 5th. With the Red Sox down by 2 runs. Runners are off. Millar's swinging, and he pops it up foul. This should get back and out of play. And will.
Boy, this looks like a huge crowd here tonight. I mean, I know it's a sellout, but I mean, it seems like they got them stuffed everywhere in this place tonight.
There's a lot more fans standing up there than usual as well, out in left center and up in left to the left of the pole. As they are packed in for the 3rd game of this series tonight. The payoff pitch, runners off. Millar is swinging away. Grounded to third. Roland looked at second and fires to first. So while Millar is out at first base, at least 2 runners head into scoring position with 2 down.
It could end up being a big play for Grady Little. He sends those runners. He does it almost all the time on a 3-2 count. That's regardless of who is hitting. And that time, by sending the runners, they stay away from the deuce. So it gives Nixon a chance to drive in a couple of runs. If not Nixon, then Miller, who follows him. First base open.
Well, Trott has been productive over the last 11 games. Tonight he's 0 for 2, and he pops this one up. Straddling the line at first is Pujols, now into foul ground. Makes the catch. Little dance at the end, but he takes care of it. The Red Sox strand 2 more. 9 runners left over 5 innings. Red Sox trailing by 2. Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy back at Fenway Park. Cardinals on top 2-0 as we move to the top of the 6th inning. And we'd like to welcome Katie Walker. Katie, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We understand that you guys are working on another event. This has popped up foul off first. Millar moving over towards the Red Sox dugout. Make the catch for out number 1. Well, the Red Sox wives will be hosting picnic in the park. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, it's June 29th on Sunday after the game. It's for American Diabetes Association. We'll have live and silent auctions, a great band, and if we're lucky, maybe Theo Epstein will give us a quick song.
Oh, I don't know about that. You got to pay for that.
It's true. It's going to be a great event. We're trying to raise money for the American Diabetes Association, and it also funds the Red Sox Foundation. And we're just really excited about it. It's our first event.
That's great. What kind of items will you have to be auctioned off?
We have signed bats, balls. We have each player made their own jacket.
Wow.
It's a blue jean jacket, and it says something about themselves or things that they like. So you get a little bit of their personal interest outside of baseball.
That's great.
Edgar Renteria lining that one off the wall and left. See if we can get a look at that jacket again. I'm sorry, I don't think they saw it the first time, Katie.
This is Brandon Lyons' jacket.
That's what he chose, appropriately enough.
Yes.
Would be. What did your husband choose? Todd Walker.
Well, we're still working on it.
That is a work in progress,
yes.
Apparently. I jumped the gun on you.
Now, let me ask you, is he working on it, or are you working on it?
Well, I'm trying to get him to work on it. He's given me the ideas, but I'm not much of an artist, and he actually really is. So I'm going to try to get him to do this. You'll see. If it looks bad, it might be for me.
1 out, 1 on. Here's Eduardo Perez as a check over at first base on Renteria. Now, how can fans go about getting tickets for this event exactly?
There's the American Diabetes website, www.diabetes.org, or you can call by phone, 1-888-DIABETES, or you can email the Red Sox wives at diabetes.org.
There are some more of the particulars there in case you are interested. Well, this is your first season in Boston. Your thoughts of coming to this, our fine city?
It is. We love it. We have 2 babies. They're 18 months apart, and we live downtown.
Oh, that's terrific.
I've never done it. We're usually in the suburbs area, so I'm getting used to it. I love the fans. They're great. They love the team, and it's exciting to be here in a big city and a fun place. We love it.
The 0-1 to Perez at first base. Renteria takes off. The throw down will get through. Renteria will hop up and head to third base and stand there with 1 out in the inning. Well, a potential run now for the Cardinals just 90 feet away.
Renteria picks up steal number 10 on the season. And of course, the La Russa has shown when he gets a base run in this game, he's going to send him because of that knuckleball. Mirabelli rushing to throw it, gets by. It actually hits Renteria and heads out towards center field, so he can move up to third base. Now the Red Sox have to pull the infield in. Well, the Red Sox wives did a lot of nice things over the last couple of years, raised an awful lot of money, and it's great to see. And the best thing about it is they have a lot of fun doing it.
We do. We actually just did we helped the ice cream scoop today out at the government center.
Oh,
did
terrific.
the ice cream for the cancer, Dana-Farber. And that was actually a lot of fun. Eating the ice cream also.
Did you eat more than you served, or?
Try not to. I tried to.
Renteria at third, the infield in all the way around, and this is popped up foul off first base.
Well, you got it down good. You've got Government Center down, and pretty soon you'll be able to drive in the city. That's not an easy thing to do.
You know, I'm taking taxis.
That's a wise thing to do.
I tried the T with 2 babies, and I said, never again.
You're from Louisiana?
Yes,
originally?
maybe that's why.
A little different driving here in Boston than Louisiana, I would imagine.
Yes.
Although I've never been to Louisiana, so maybe it is.
I have.
Have you?
It's much difficult to drive here.
I think so.
We're not as aggressive.
I'll give you a little hint. Just never look them in the eye when you're driving in Boston. Never commit to anything. Just don't look at them if you do choose to drive here at any point.
Well, we live across the street, so.
Oh, that works out great then. Yeah, you don't have to go far at all. The 2-2. That one hits him. And nowhere to go. And Perez will be going to first base, the hit batsman. So again, to summarize, the picnic in the park Sunday night, June 29th at Fenway Park, and the proceeds will all benefit the American Diabetes Association and the Red Sox Foundation. And that event will start, about an hour and a half after the ball game that night.
Yes.
So we look
and the
forward
players
to that.
and ourselves will be there.
We'll all be there.
Yes.
That's true.
Hosting events, all kinds.
Well, Katie Walker, we thank you very much for stopping by, and we wish you well. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Watch you guys all the time.
Two and two to Mike Matheny here, the catcher with runners at the corners. Rain is falling here at Fenway Park now with 1 out in the inning. Really fortunate in this series with intermittent rain during the day not to have rain within the game, but rain here falling now at Fenway. The 1-0. That will miss the inside. 2-0.
Now with the 1 out, the Red Sox drop the infield back for the possible double play. Reddy Little looks like he's going to make a long distance call down to that bullpen. As Wallace, well, I guess not. Looked like he was going to send Wallace out to grab some time, but then pulled him back in.
Matheny gets a piece to foul it back to the backstop. Our thanks to Katie Walker for stopping by, and looking forward to another fine event hosted by the Wives coming up here. There's Almonte in the bullpen. Will be joined by Alan Embry. And the Red Sox soon to have double-barreled action out in the bullpen. Swung on and missed. Stevens up at 2-2. Renteria at third, Perez at first, with 1 away here in the top of the 6th inning. Popped up right side. Walker on the move to the outfield grass, back at first to make the catch. Not nearly deep enough for Renteria to make any kind of trip homeward, and there's 2 down.
Well, stay tuned after the game for W.B. Mason's Extra Innings, New England's Red Sox postgame show with extra highlights, extra interviews, and extra analysis, hosted by Bob Rogers and a new lineup of studio analysts. After the last inning, the action is just beginning. Now, this should be interesting, Don. Robinson tonight twice has looked very bad against that knuckleball from Wakefield. First time striking out, next time popping up. See what kind of a bat he puts on here with that 1st and 3rd situation.
And the strikeout and a pop out, as Jerry mentioned, so far tonight 0 for 2. And quickly takes strike 1.
Miller in just in front of the bag at 3rd base. Robinson with good speed. You never know. He might try to drop one down.
Wakefield's now thrown 92 pitches in his outing. This is grounded to short. Nomar plays the tough hop and fires to first for the final out of the inning. And the Cardinals strand 2. We played 5 1/2, 2-0 St. Louis. Back at Fenway as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Bill Miller to lead it off for the Red Sox. And we are joined by more guests tonight. Michael Milken, the founder of Cap Cure.
Great to see you again.
Great to see you, Michael. And the great Tommy Lasorda is on hand with us again tonight. Tommy,
good to see you, Don.
Great to see you, Tommy. Well, tell us a little bit about Cap Cure. I know we've talked about it many years before, but tell us about what's coming up this season.
This is our 7th year on the Cap Cure Home Run Challenge. Cap Cure is the largest private funder of prostate cancer research in the world. And we've funded 1,100 programs. And up to this year, about $20 million of that funding has come from the Cap Cure Home Run Challenge.
That's terrific. And I know a lot of players are involved. Can you tell us some of the players this year? That...
Well, your shortstop is our player rep. Every team has a player rep, and all the managers are involved. And on Father's Day, they'll all be wearing their blue wristbands and blue decals here.
I started early on you with the blue. I'll have to bring this back out again.
Well, Tommy thought that was Dodger blue. He told me when we were coming in here. He thought that was Dodger blue. So anybody can pledge. There's a number you can call in. 1-800-547-CURE. And all the home runs in those 60 games, which end on Father's Day. Last year there was 126. So if you pledged $1, that would be $126. If you pledged a dime a home run, that'd be $12.60. And if you were great enough to pledge $1 or $1,000, that'd be $126,000. And every cent pledged during the Red Sox games, every home run hit here on today, Saturday, and Sunday goes to cancer research in the Boston area.
Tommy, how did you get involved with this great cause?
Well, I met Michael a long time ago, and we became very, very good friends. And when I saw what he was trying to do, then I was right there to help him. So I've been with him for a few years now and enjoy being around him.
He's grounded back up the middle. The great Edgar Renteria from the outfield gets him. Wow. That's some kind of shortstop right there, and there's 2 down.
And Tommy goes from ballpark to ballpark, telling the guys how important it is to hit home runs and talk to the pitchers and make sure they've got their good home run pitches going.
But I also like to talk about Mike and the time and effort and money that he puts into this cause. He's had it himself. He knows what it's like. He knows what he's done to try to stop it from getting any worse. And he wants to pass that on, and he wants to do everything he can to find a cure for prostate cancer. And I can say this to the best of my heart, that if there's anybody who's going to find a cure for prostate cancer, you can bet your money it's on Michael.
Wow.
And we need people to contribute. We need people to pledge. We need it for research.
And we have a lot of researchers in the Boston area that are going to help us do that. And the amazing thing is the awareness of this program, which centers around Father's Day and the theme, Keep Dad in the Game.
It's amazing the numbers, looking at them, how many people are affected by it, and not only just in baseball. There have been some very famous people been affected, but the numbers are staggering.
1 in 6 Americans, and probably 1 in every 2 families in the country is affected. It's the most diagnosed cancer in men after skin cancer.
I did a radio show.
This is lifted in the air to left center field, and this will be out number 3.
I did a radio show this past Sunday, and a call in. And the guy called in and said, Tommy, and he broke down and started to cry right on the air.
We pick it up next inning. Okay. Come right back, Tommy. 2-0 Cardinals. I'm sorry, Tommy. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Dodge, by Foxwoods Resort Casino, and by Magner Cider. Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy back at Fenway Park, and Tommy and Mike moving on to another booth here as they'll be visiting everybody tonight. And fortunately, we didn't get to Tommy's story. Started in, but fortunately at the 3rd out. But we'd like to thank them for stopping by. Good pitcher on for the Red Sox, Alan Embry.
Embry making his 23rd appearance of the season. The record stands at 3-1. His last outing coming Tuesday against the Cardinals, a 1/3 of an inning. Had a strikeout in that game.
Miguel Cairo, the top of the Cardinals order, to lead it off. With the Cardinals on top 2-0. And it continues to rain here at Fenway Park, very lightly, but still raining. It's really not hard enough to stop the game at this point. On the ground right side. Walker to his left, and he'll throw out Cairo. Willard, a little dance step there at the bag, but he's able to hold on for out number 1. Let's check in with Tom Karen. Tom?
Todd, thanks very much. Here with author Rich Wolf, our Citizens Bank Not Your Typical Fan. You've got an interesting perspective on this because you've got the best-selling book in Cardinals history, and you recently wrote the book for Red Sox fans only.
And both teams are playing tonight, and that's the worst situation you can be in, Tom, is when you like both teams. But every year I do a book for Father's Day, and I always was intrigued by the fan stories, so I did a book called For Red Sox Fans Only, and it's been one of the fastest-selling books I've ever done.
Now, you also did a book on Tom Brady, who we talked to earlier.
Did a book on Tom Brady a year ago. I live in Arizona. My best friend in Arizona was in the seminary with Tom Brady's dad about 40 years ago. Can't say enough good things about Tom Brady's family and the whole thing. Wonderful, wonderful.
Rich, let me ask you had some interesting thoughts about the fandom of these two teams.
I think they have the two best fan groups of bases in baseball because of the females. The female fans of the Cardinals and Red Sox are exceptionally knowledgeable and very passionate. And whereas, let's say, Cub wives or whatever, they know a little bit, but they're not really into it. You don't want to get in a serious argument with a Cardinal female fan or a Red Sox female fan, particularly an older one, because you might lose.
Words of wisdom. Rich, thanks.
Thank you, Thomas.
Our Citizens Bank Not Your Typical Fan. Guys?
All right, Tom, thanks very much. There's Orlando Palmeiro with 1 out in the inning. It counted 2-1. He's collected 2 hits tonight, 2 for 3 in the game. As Alan Embry tries to preserve the 2-run deficit here for the Red Sox and keep it at 2 runs. This is in the air to left center field. Damon on the run towards the track to pull it in. Tony gets a great jump and runs it down 2 away.
The first baseman, number 5, Albert Pujols.
So 2 down, and it'll bring up Albert Pujols, who's 0 for 3, a fly out, 2 ground outs. And Marabelli out to the mound to talk to Embry. Tim Wakefield tonight, incidentally, went 6 innings, giving up 6 hits, 2 runs. 1 of the 2 runs was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 4. He hit a batter. And on the hook tonight as he departs with the Cardinals on top 2-0.
All of a sudden, we had a flurry of activity here in the booth.
All kinds of action.
My goodness.
Unfortunately, Tommy had to go there. I think he was winding up for what probably was going to be a very good story, but this is down the right field line and will curve its way foul back into the seats. More action in the Boston pen. Mike Timlin is up in the pen. Now that is very rare. You can go maybe 4 or 5 games without a guest, and then to have 2 within an inning is sort of a surprise. On the ground by the mound. Charging is Garcia Parra on the move, and he throws out Pujols. It's a 1-2-3 top of the 7th. 7th inning stretch time. 2-0 Cardinals. Work to do for the Red Sox as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Boston trailing by 2. Stephenson back out on the mound. He's thrown 113 pitches as he deals with a strike. And it's 1-1 to Damon, but he's back out there again. He's retired 5 Red Sox in a row. And it's cued foul off the end of the bat by Johnny Damon. 1-2. Rain falling at Fenway, as you can see beyond Garrett Stephenson. Down and into Damon, and he strikes out. 6th strikeout for Garrett Stephenson.
Sports King still has seats available for the July 4th, 5th, and 6th series against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. The sports travel experts are offering 1, 2, and 3 game tours starting at $89. Call Sports King at 781-279-4950 or visit sportsking.com.
So it has become a rainy night here at Fenway. Todd Walker is 1 for 3 tonight. Reached on a 2-base error last time up on a ball dropped by Eduardo Perez in deep left field on the track. And Walker doubled in the first inning. Down quickly, 0-2. Foul back below us and to the left. Stephenson tonight has walked 6. It's not a number that you would normally think of in a shutout type situation. 6 walks, but he has done it amazingly. The 0-2 lifted in the air to left. Perez dropped the last one. Has a better look at this one and makes the catch for out number 2.
Win a LoJack stolen vehicle recovery system by entering the LoJack caught stealing sweepstakes at boston.com/NESN. Every time the Sox catch a run of stealing, go to the website, enter the date, opponent, and run a caught stealing for your chance to win.
Two down, 7 in a row sent down by Garrett Stephenson. Nomar's 1 for 3 tonight, singled in the 3rd inning. Cardinals have no action in their bullpen right now either, despite the fact their starter's gone 121 pitches. Down the line in left field. Will it be fair? No. Foul ball. Finds what little foul ground there is down there. And Omar's going to come on back.
Well, the first thing that came to mind when I saw that ball going down the line is Matheny setting up outside in 4 pitches to walk Ramirez to go to first base. That ball just barely in foul territory.
Two quick outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And now the pitch. Omar will take it for a ball, and it's 3-1.
A few more curveballs from Stephenson here later on in the game. Early in the game, basically fastball changeup. But he's mixed in a few more hooks over the last few innings.
Laced to third, but Roland is there to bring it in. Another 1-2-3 inning for Stephenson. We played 7-2-0 St. Louis. Don Orsillo and Jerry Remy back at Fenway Park. Our producer is Patrick Cavanaugh, director Mike Naracci, associate producer is Greg Petranzio, and our stat man is Paul Carroll. We come to you from Fenway Park.
Stay tuned after the game for W.B. Mason's Extra Innings, New England's Red Sox postgame show with extra highlights, extra interviews, and extra analysis, hosted by Bob Rogers, and a new lineup of studio analysts. After the last inning, the action is just beginning.
Top of the 8th inning, Alan Embry out there for his 2nd inning of relief. 2 ground outs and a fly out. Made pretty quick work of the Cardinals in the top of the 7th inning. Back out there for the 8th to face the left-handed hitting Jim Edmonds. The Sox have Timlin still up in the bullpen. Edmonds hits it a ton to right field. That ball is back and gone beyond the Boston bullpen. Jim Edmonds hits his 16th home run of the year. And that lefty-lefty matchup did not fare well for Alan Embry as the Cardinals take a 3-0 lead.
Now Edmonds has struggled this year against lefties, only 184 coming into the game with a couple of home runs. He didn't waste any time here. He gets that fastball, that beautiful slight uppercut swing by Edmonds into the Red Sox, on top of the Red Sox bullpen.
So Grady Little out to get Alan Embry here, and a pitching change coming from Fenway Park with the Red Sox now down in the game by a score of 3-0. We'll step aside and come back with the new Boston pitcher. Well, after a quick inning of relief, the first batter that Embry faces this inning takes him out of the yard, and that ends Alan Embry's night. We'll turn things over to the tall right-hander, Mike Timlin.
Last time out, Timlin picked up his first save. That was on Saturday against the Brewers. An inning in that game, had a strikeout. Overall, his 27th appearance. Only 2 walks in 35 innings for Timlin.
He'll have to face the third baseman for the Cardinals, Scott Rowland. He's 0 for 3, and line out, strikeout, and a foul out. And Timlin starts off with strike 1. Well, Embry in his inning plus of work ended up throwing just 10 pitches. Gave up a hit. Of course, the home run was the hit. Didn't walk anybody, nor did he strike anybody out. 0-2 to Rowland. 34,389 on hand here at Fenway, and right now they're getting rained on very lightly, but it is raining here at Fenway. It is the 10th sellout of the season for the Red Sox.
This is the closest thing you'll get to a Yankee Red Sox game here at Fenway Park as far as the number of opposing teams' fans here, and also some fisticuffs in the stands.
Yeah.
And a few fracas around the ballpark.
A few bouts. Those who may have been around for the 1967 World Series imagine they're still angry about it, but you can't imagine that they would be the ones perhaps starting some of the brawls out there. But there have been some around Fenway in this 3-game series. Got him. Mike Timlin strikes out the first man that he faces in Scott Rowland, out number 1.
Looked like it might have been a slider. I believe it was that time from Timlin. 98% of Timlin's pitches, generally fastballs. Every once in a while they move in that slider, and that time he picks up the strikeout against Rowland.
There's Edgar Renteria, the shortstop, who's 2 for 2 tonight, a double and a single. The Cardinals have 3 hitters who have more than 1 hit, as they have 7 as a club. Orlando Palmeiro has 2. Jim Edmonds has 2, including the home run in this inning. And Edgar Renteria has 2. The only other hit belonging to their leadoff man, Miguel Cairo. Off the end of the bat, foul. Well, we may get our first look of this season and his first look at pitching in 2003. Jason Isringhausen was activated for game 1 of this series after being placed on the DL in spring training. We've not seen him in the series, but he is up in the Cardinals bullpen. In his absence, they've had 14 blown saves this season. The normal closer, Isringhausen. And it's now 2-1. Someone falling behind, 3-1 to Renteria. Eduardo Perez waits on deck for the Cardinals. And the strike. Renteria gets the news from Joe Brinkman. It's a full count. On the ground and through. Well placed, right side of the Red Sox infield into right field, and Renteria has his 3rd hit of the night.
Another big night for Renteria. 3 more hits on the season. Gives him 83 total. That puts him 3rd in the league in that category, behind Pujols and Rafael Furcal of Atlanta. He has 85. 340 batting average will keep him in that 3rd place right now behind Sheffield.
Eduardo Perez has been on base twice tonight without the benefit of a base hit. Walked in the 2nd, was hit by a pitch in the 6th, and grounded out in between those at-bats. Someone looks the runner back to the bag.
Renteria had a steal in his last at-bat. Ended up on 3rd base on the throwing error.
The Cardinals have committed 2 errors in this game. They are in the National League 2nd with just 30 errors on the season as they play their 64th game tonight. So normally very short-handed from a defensive standpoint, but 2 miscues tonight for the Cardinals. The Red Sox have 1 error. First is off. Pitch swung on a miss. Throw down. Not nearly in time. He had a very good jump and steals 2nd base pretty easily.
Well, we hear so much, obviously, about the defensive abilities of Renteria, but he attributed to some kind of offensive player, too. High batting average, couple of steals now, gives him 11 on the season, gets in a scoring position. Shortstop hadn't been a problem, has it, for the Cardinals for a lot of years?
Ozzie for a great many of them. One away. Renteria standing at 2nd base now in scoring position as the Cardinals go after some more runs. Eduardo Perez waiting on the 1-1. Chopped to 3rd, and Miller takes it on the half hop, looks the runner back and throws to 1st. Renteria made one big hop as if he was going to go to 3rd with the throw. He does not. Hangs out at 2nd base. 2 down.
Miller really attacked that ground ball. And instead of waiting back and hoping for a nice high hop, he's going to go get this one and play it on the tough in-between hop. Checks the runner at 2nd base and gets Perez over at 1st. An aggressive play there by Bill Miller at 3rd base.
Two down for Mike Matheny, who's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. He struck out in the 2nd inning. Tim Wakefield over 6 innings tonight, struck out 4. Red Sox starter surrendered 6 hits, 2 runs, and walked 2. And Wakefield on the hook right now. The Red Sox trailing 3-0. As we look to the bottom of the 8th inning for Boston, Manny Ramirez, Kevin Millar, and Trot Nixon are expected to bat. Isringhausen still up in the St. Louis bullpen. The starter for the Cardinals, Garrett Stephenson, is upwards to 120 pitches in this outing tonight. But still sitting on the bench with the jacket on. Evens up at 1-1. Timlin struck out Roland. The first batter that he faced gave up a single to Renteria. Now stands at 2nd after the stolen base. Perez grounded out to 3rd. Broken bat grounder back to Timlin. He'll run a little bit, flip, and out at first base is Matheny. But the home run by Edmonds as the Cardinals on top 3-0. Edmonds with a solo home run most recently as he hit it in the top of the 8th. Pujols with his 54th RBI, now 3rd in the NL. And the Red Sox a miserable 0 for 7 tonight with runners in scoring position. Tim Wakefield, 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. 1 was earned. He's on the hook. Eric Stephenson, after throwing better than 120 pitches, leaves after 7 innings and remarkably holding the great Red Sox offense to 3 hits and no runs despite walking 6. Jim Edmonds goes into left field. He was the DH, so now they'll have to have the pitcher hit, which is not something that is out of the ordinary for the National League St. Louis Cardinals. And here's Jason Isringhausen.
Those are the numbers down on the rehab at Tennessee. A couple of innings, 3 strikeouts, shoulder surgery in the offseason. Put him on the disabled list. The first appearance of the year for Isringhausen. 30 saves a year ago.
Manny's been walked twice and has struck out tonight. As again, they work him away, ball 1. Now the Red Sox, who have averaged 6.3 runs per game. That's 396 runs over the first 63 games. Unable to score against the starter tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals, who walked 6.
The Red Sox have had their chances. Bases loaded in the 1st, bases loaded in the 4th, the 2nd and 3rd and the 5th, but unable to score.
And Stephenson retired the last 8 Red Sox before he departed. Two and 1 now to Manny. Ramirez, Millar, and Nixon expected in the inning. Manny rifles it into left field for a base hit. The Red Sox have the lead man on. That breaks up the string of 8 in a row.
Well, now it's time for the Sam Adams good decision of the game, and the good decision, Jim Edmonds jumping on a fastball for a home run to give the Cardinals a 3-0 lead. Edmonds picks up his 3rd home run of the season against a lefty. This report is brought to you by Sam Adams. Always a good decision.
Kevin Millar's walked twice and grounded out. Double play ball to second. Cairo to second for 1 on to first. A double play. The second double play turn tonight by the St. Louis defense.
Well, I'm sure that also will make Isringhausen relax a little bit. You know, he's going to be nervous out there. Coming off shoulder surgery, first big league appearance, a base hit to the first batter. That ball hit pretty well by Millar, but right at Cairo, and they pick up the double play. He got a huge ovation coming out of that bullpen from the Cardinal fans. They've been desperate for some help in the bullpen.
There's a 14 blown saves this season to lead the major leagues. You got to figure that if he was the closer, they probably wouldn't even have half of those, as they have had their problems in that category this season. 2 down. Trot Nixon 0 for 3. He has struck out and fouled out twice. This one to the backstop on the fly. The numbers for Isringhausen over the years at 32 saves, as Jerry mentioned, last year with St. Louis. Prior to that, of course, doing his work with the Oakland A's, 34 saves in 2001, 33 saves in 2000. And all the injured years with surgeries to his shoulder and his arm in the Mets system, and really never reaching his full potential with the Mets, finding it with the Oakland A's. And after all those surgeries, really finding it as a closer, 1, maybe 2 innings at the most, after the Mets tried in and year out to make him a starter in the major leagues. Strike call from Brinkman on the outside corner. 2-2.
Tell you what, too, he's got some good velocity. 96 on that last fastball.
Off the left side, still 2-2. He did not allow any home runs in 2002 and hasn't allowed a homer in the regular season through 81 2/3 innings pitched. That's when he gave up, was in 2001. Popped up into shallow left center, falling fast and in for a hit. A 2-out single for Trot Nixon.
Watching Renteria take off on that pop-up. He headed towards center field, but the ball was off to his left shoulder. And by the time he gets back in that general direction, the ball you see is going to go to his left, and he can't quite make the play. That would have been obviously a highlight film play if he makes it.
Here's Bill Miller. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Softly loop back at third, and Rowland can't make the catch. It'll be a foul ball. The dive apparently taking place in foul ground, and glancing off his glove for a foul ball.
Now coverage is going to question that down at third base with the third base umpire Fletcher, but it looked like the correct call. Here's one more look. This will be a great angle to look at it.
Oh no, Jerry.
Wow. Wow. You know, it's not where he slaps it.
No. That would be fair.
Yeah, I think that's a bad call.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to say it.
Well, we have the benefit of the replay, of course, but certainly looks that way. In there for a strike to Miller, and he's now all of a sudden down 0-2. On the ground to Cairo at second. He will flip to Renteria to end the inning. We played 8 from Fenway. It's 3-0 Cardinals. Boston Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by New England Ford dealers, and by the Bone and Joint Center at Caritas St. Elizabeth's, where you don't have to be an all-star to be treated like one. Well, it's on to the top of the 9th inning, and it has finally stopped raining here at Fenway, and the Red Sox bring on a new pitcher, their 4th of the night, Hector Almonte, into the game.
Almonte making his 4th appearance. His record stands at 0-1. His last coming Sunday in Milwaukee against the Brewers. An inning in that game, 1 hit, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts.
Barry Robinson's had a tough night at the plate. He's 0 for 3. There's the number 0. I'm trying to think of some other guys who were 0. I know Al Oliver did. And Paul Carroll reminded me that Junior Ortiz and the Pittsburgh Pirates were 0 as well. And this 2-1. Of course, the blades of grass, it's like it's been trimmed down. It was more of a weed before. I guess that's sort of weedish. Nice foul back into the seats on the left side. He doesn't just pitch with it. He walks around the clubhouse with it. He's always sort of got it in his mouth. I have to ask him exactly why or where it started.
Nothing like good weed.
Strike 3 to Kerry Robinson, just in time. 1 away.
Well, get the Globe's award-winning sports coverage every day. Call 1-800-984-5335 for 50% off home delivery. The Boston Globe, your world unfolding daily.
One down, back up to the top of the order for Miguel Cairo. Is 1 for 4. The Cardinals with right-handed action in their bullpen.
You know, you wonder when you look at the weed in his mouth. I wonder if it's the same one, like Superstitious, or if he has a bunch of them that he carries around with him.
Is he harvesting some? This is down the line at third towards the corner. Cairo rounds first, headed for two. As Giambi digs it out, a one-out double for Cairo.
Well, Cairo's had a nice night at the top of that lineup. He's got a couple of hits. He's got a steal. He's played a nice defensive second base tonight for the Cardinals, starting a couple of double plays. See Bill Miller well off the line, and he goes right down in the corner with a one-out double.
You know, you bring up a very good point. The weed that he has in his mouth is the same looking weed that he had in Fort Myers. So wherever he's getting this weed, you can get it in South Florida, but you also can get it in Boston, apparently. I don't know if he's growing it in his closet or what exactly he's doing, but 1 out, 1 on. Palmeiro 2 for 4. There are 4 multi-hit nights tonight for Cardinals hitters. That will miss. And out goes Mirabelli to the mound.
Well, the Red Sox in game 1 were a little bit concerned about maybe the Cardinals stealing some signs at second base, or not so much signs but location of pitches, and that has certainly got the attention of Mirabelli with that man on second base.
Monty is slowed it up here with a runner in scoring position now. And is able to get it by Palmeiro. Nicely done. 9 pitches from Almonte so far, and 8 of them have been for strikes. Gets away from him. 1-2 the count. 95 miles per hour on that one from Almonte. He's the 4th Boston pitcher tonight. Wakefield went the first 6. Gave up 2 runs. Embry went an inning plus, giving up the home run to Jim Edmonds. Timlin an inning, giving up a hit, no runs, and now Almonte. And it evens up at 2-2. The scoreless 9th inning last time out on Sunday at Milwaukee. Prior to that, he'd been roughed up in Milwaukee over an inning and 2/3, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits. Look out, back into the seats. Unfortunately, hit an empty seat. Foul back to the backstop. Still 2-2 to Palmeiro. And Mirabelli will go out again and talk to Almonte. Well, certainly a strange night from a Red Sox perspective. A team that has just devoured other teams' pitching and has come up with some amazing offensive numbers this season. But tonight against the Cardinals pitching staff, and really just 2 guys, especially the starter tonight for the Cardinals, Stephenson, who worked the first 7, holding Boston to 3 hits and no runs. The 2-2 up and away in a full count. This sort of been waiting all night for the Red Sox to bust out. So many times this season they have done just that, and sometimes it takes just 1 inning to do it. And the Red Sox have had their opportunities tonight. They've left the bases loaded twice. And have left 10 men on through the first 8 innings tonight. As we look to the bottom of the 9th inning, at the very least, the Red Sox will be dealing with a 3-run deficit. Giambi, Mirabelli, and Damon are the expected hitters, 8, 9, and 1.
I don't think it'll be Isringhausen. It looks like Eldred may be loosening out in that pen. He had a save in game 1 of this series. And until they get Isringhausen back, you know, with a few games under his belt, I'm sure that Eldred will continue to be the closer. What a battle here by Palmeiro.
He continues to foul off pitches with Miguel Cairo at second, 1 down. Backing out is Palmeiro. Long sequence here, and a lot of pitches thrown by Almonte to Palmeiro. In the air to left, Giambi moving in and over. 2 down. And now we get to face Albert Pujols with a runner in scoring position and 2 down. And coming into the game tonight, hitting at .391 and does not have a hit in the game tonight. He's 0 for 4.
Well, you got a major problem here. First base is open. You got Pujols, but he's followed by Edmonds. And of course, Edmonds has a couple of hits in this game, including a home run. Red Sox do not have another lefty in the bullpen. Embry has already been used in the game. Grady's probably saying to Wallace, well, how about this situation? You want Pujols, then you got Edmonds coming to the plate.
Pujols 0 for 4 tonight. 3 groundouts and a flyout. And they'll work him away. Red Sox will host the Houston Astros beginning here tomorrow night in a 3-game series. The Astros have not announced their starter tomorrow night. Actually, I should say the Red Sox have not announced their starter tomorrow night. And that is a question mark. Sort of pitching away from Pujols here, and it's 2-0.
The same thing they did with Manny, except they've used 2 sliders, hoping Pujols will chase it.
Appears to be a little bit more believable that way. More of a chance for him to go after it. Again away. Again, the Red Sox started to tell you have to make a move here. At some point, it sounds like it'll be after the game tonight to announce their starter for tomorrow night. He'll go against Jonathan Johnson. A lot of speculation that the Red Sox may dip down to the Pawtucket Red Sox to bring up a starter. Ryan Ruth has done extremely well lately, 4-1, and his name is a name that has been bandied about as a possibility, but we'll learn more about that either tonight or tomorrow. And a 4-pitch walk to Pujols. And down to first he goes. Only the 3rd walk all night given up by Red Sox pitching. The first for Almonte.
Left fielder, number 15, Jim Edmonds.
Dave Wallace on the phone to the bullpen. Edmonds homered his last time up in the 8th inning. The solo shot in his 16th of the year. And Mirabelli out to talk to Almonte here to discuss how they will approach Jim Edmonds. Jared Mirabelli able to glove it. And the Red Sox with action in the bullpen. Jason Shield just came back up from Pawtucket, the right-hander in the pen, and the Red Sox pitching coach Dave Wallace to the mound. The inning began. Kerry Robinson struck out looking. Then Miguel Cairo doubled. Orlando Palmeiro flied out to left. The walk of Albert Pujols. 2 on, 2 outs. And Jim Edmonds with a count of 1-0.
Now Joe Brinkman's seen enough. He's going to make his way out to the mound and break up this meeting. But he gets he almost got there.
They gave him a bluff. And he does indeed break it up. Cardinals trying to add to their 3-0 advantage. Monty's struggling right now to throw a strike. After Edmonds, Scott Rowland comes up. Victor Almonte, 27 years of age, from the Dominican Republic. Spent the last 3 years in Japan. Edmonds out after the 2-0. 2-1. Monty coming into tonight's action with an 0-1 record. Still does not have a major league victory to his credit in his work in Florida. Sliced foul off the left side, evens up at 2-2. Now thrown 25 pitches since coming on. The 2-2 to Edmonds, in there for strike 3. So that they're 2 on to the Cardinals. We're on to the bottom of the 9th, 3-0 St. Louis.
Chance for the Red Sox. They trail at 3-0 as we go to bottom of the 9th. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Boston Red Sox may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. In addition, the accounts and description of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Boston Red Sox.
Well, Jason Isringhausen, fresh off the DL, goes an inning, giving up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, no Ks, and 2. The bullpen again go the Cardinals, and the guy that's been closing the games, Cal Eldred.
8 for 10 in save situations, and save number 8 came right here against the Red Sox on Tuesday. An inning in that game, a hit, no runs, no walks, and a couple of strikeouts. Overall, this is his 23rd appearance.
And 0 for 3 showing so far tonight for Jeremy Giambi. He was grounded out twice and struck out. He starts it off. Jason Varitek has grabbed a bat, and he will be on deck here to bat for Doug Mirabelli, second in the inning. Here's Jason. The strike makes it 1-1.
So Isringhausen back from an injury. Eldred missed all of last season with an injury.
Inside, 2-1. Eldred is 35 years of age, pretty big, 6'4", 240 pounds. And the injury you spoke of, he was rehabbing his injured right elbow all last year. 2-2. Cal Eldred all those years with the Milwaukee Brewers, 1991 right through 99. The Brewers 2 years with the Chicago White Sox. Full count to Giambi. Now the 3-2. Outside of first and foul, back into the seats in a hurry and by the Tart. Ball 4. The Red Sox need some base runners. They've got the first one of the inning in Giambi.
Well, enjoy the Cape Cod Baseball League, providing wholesome family entertainment while developing the players of tomorrow, supported in part by Keyspan. Keyspan, the energy to think ahead.
Jason Varitek to pinch hit for Doug Marabelli. Doug had been 1 for 2 tonight with a walk. And Varitek hits for him here in the ninth. 293, I'm sorry.
Is that Sanchez running at first? Surprised me. I thought we... No, it's not. It's still Giambi, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
Varitek taking ball 1. The Red Sox trying to get some base runners here as they trail by 3. Batting in the bottom of the ninth. $34,389. Trying to get the Red Sox going. And the strike to Varitek, 1-1. Over the last 21 games, Varitek hitting at .353 as he swings deep and far to right field, down by the pole, around it, and gone. A 2-run home run in the ninth for Varitek, and the Red Sox are back within a run.
Jason Varitek picks up number 10 on the season. 9 of those as a left-handed hitter. And back again come the Red Sox.
Number 18, Johnny Damon.
And you still have nobody out in the inning, and the leadoff hitter coming up in Johnny Damon. So essentially, it's like beginning an inning down by a run. Varitek with a pinch hit, 2-run home run. And this is a one-hopper backhanded by Pujols. Nice play, and he'll take it alone for out number 1.
Now, Pujols, who was the DH in game 1 of this series, Tino Martinez, with a leg injury out of the lineup the last 2 games, makes a very nice play on a ball hit very hard by Johnny Damon. It's a breaking ball, and one hard hop to Pujols to take it himself.
Now Todd Walker is 1 for 4 tonight. He doubled back in the first inning. One of only 3 hits given up by Garrett Stephenson tonight. Lifted down the left field line. On the run is Renteria. And Edmonds coming over as well, but backing out of play. Double-barreled action all of a sudden in the Cardinals bullpen. They get a right-hander and a left-hander up.
Steve Klein, the left-hander. Esteban Yan, the right-hander.
One and one to Walker. Omar Garciaparra and the heart of the Red Sox order waiting on deck to follow here as Walker tries to get aboard. towards Canvas Alley and into it. Waiting all night for the Red Sox to kind of bust out. A walk by Jeremy Giambi to get it started here in the bottom of the ninth. Then the pinch hit 2-run home run for Varitek. Damon grounded out. And the 1-2 to Todd Walker. To center field in for a base hit. Red Sox have the tying run on with one down. And the big boys coming up.
Now remember, this all started with a walk to Giambi. And now a pinch runner for Walker, Damian Jackson.
Dave Duncan, the pitching coach for the Cardinals, coming out.
Well, you certainly get the guys coming to the plate that you want to have there. Garcia, Parra, Ramirez. You know, Giambi, you got to give him credit. I mean, really struggling, obviously struggling offensively, but he gets that walk to lead off the bottom of the ninth inning here, and that kind of got things going for the Red Sox.
Came into that bat 1 for his last 25. And took ball 4 and a 3-2 pitch to get on base. Give the Red Sox a chance, and now they have one with the potential tying run on. And the potential winning run coming to the plate here in Nomar Garcia Parra. 5 for 13, a home run against Eldred in Nomar's career. This is inside for ball 1. Nomar has had 3 career walk-off home runs. And after that pitch up top, it evens up at 1-1. Over to 90 miles per hour. Both bullpens are busy. The 1-1. Again, up top missing. 2-1.
Outfield very, very deep for LaRussa all the way around. Edmonds, Palmero, Robinson.
The 2-1. Jackson's off at first. The pitch is strike. The throw down is not in time. Jackson steals second base.
Jackson gets that stolen base off Eldred, the pitcher. Got a great jump at first base. Matheny made up a lot of ground with his throw to second, but not quite in time. Jackson picks up his 9th steal of the season. He's done that a lot for the Red Sox. A lot early in the season. Pinch running, pick up a stolen base, and turns it into a run. Look at that. 8 steals as a pinch runner.
That's an amazing art after you've been sitting on the bench all night long. 2-2 to Nomar. The tying run in scoring position. The winning run at the plate in Garcia Parra. The 2-2. Nomar, and an inside out swing sends it foul. Eldred has already had to throw 21 pitches in this inning here in the bottom of the ninth. Eldred staring in, gets the sign, ready to work. The 2-2. Nomar pops it up foul, and that will get back and out of play.
He fouled off a couple of pretty tough pitches right there to stay alive. This ball down, maybe not a strike, but once he commits, he's able to just get a piece of it and foul it off.
Again, the 2-2. Again, fouled off the right side, and the battle continues. Manny Ramirez waiting on deck for the Red Sox. The first a bit of business between Cal Eldred and Nomar Garciaparra. The payoff pitch. Again, fouled right side.
Well, this might be the longest Nomar has been at that plate all season long. He's usually long gone by now, either on base.
One way or the other.
Yeah.
The ninth pitch of the at-bat will be coming up from Cal Eldred. The 3-2. Nomar again sending it foul off the right side, and we'll jump into double figures in pitches in this at bat.
Well, it's almost like with these swings that Garciaparra has taken, he's looking for the ball in, or he's expecting the ball in, and the pitch has been away, and he's just been able to foul him off. He leaves one inside, the game might be over.
The 3-2 pitch. Nomar sends it to center field. Palmeiro heading back. Still going. It is up and off the wall. Jackson will come around and score from second base. Nomar still running for third with a triple. And the Red Sox have tied at 3-3.
Don, he left the ball out over the plate. The game's not over yet, but almost. Everything had been away from Garciaparra. This ball gets out over the plate, straight away center field, and missed a home run by probably about 4 feet. That ball caroms by Palmeiro, and Garciaparra with yet another triple. Well, no way Manny's going to get a chance to swing here.
So they will intentionally walk Ramirez. That is the 11th triple of the season for Nomar Garciaparra. It equals a total he had his rookie season. An unbelievable number for this time of the year. And they will walk Ramirez here.
What an at bat by Garciaparra. He kept fouling off those pitches that were away from him and finally got one out over the plate. Now we'll see what La Russa does. As he walked the bases loaded, Millar would be next, and then Nixon comes up and then go to the left-hand decline. Or would he elect to pitch to Millar? We'll see.
You've already seen him walk the bases loaded once in this series.
Yeah, he's going to walk him, and then he's going to go get the left-hand decline to face Nixon.
It worked once in the first game of the series. Millar will not get a chance. Nixon will have a chance, but it will not likely be against the right-hander Cal Eldred. Well, he's been warming up the entire inning out there and is very ready. So the back-to-back intentional walks to load the bases. And La Russa headed out to get Cal Eldred, who has blown a save here. As the Red Sox put together a 3-run bottom of the 9th inning so far. The winning run just 90 feet away, and we're back with a new pitcher after this.
You have a chance to win it here in the bottom of the ninth. Keep cool as the summer heats up. Sport your summer threads. Get you Major League Baseball authentic caps, jerseys, T-shirts, and more at RedSox.com. The RedSox.com shop for all things baseball.
Eldred responsible for all the men on, and the blown save here tonight. He gives way to Steve Klein, the left-hander.
Klein worked in Tuesday night's game, got the win, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, had a couple of walks, no strikeouts. He's held lefties to a 156 batting average. And Trot Nixon, of course, facing him here with the infield and outfield in the ninth.
A winning run just 90 feet away, and Nomar Garciaparra. And Nixon takes strike one. This is the first time that Trot Nixon has ever faced Steve Klein.
You're going to see a lot of sliders. There's two in a row.
Waves at that pitch, 0-2.
The only right-hander on the bench for Grady Little is Freddie Sanchez.
.205 against left-handed pitchers this season for Nixon. And Klein will back off. Surveys the situation and finds Nomar at third, Ramirez at second, Millar at first, but only concerned about Garciaparra. The 0-2 to Nixon. Down and away, good play by Matheny to his left.
Yeah, up ahead, a couple of strikes. I mean, he can throw that ball way off the outside corner and hope that Nixon chases it. You got to have confidence in Matheny that he can get out there and get it.
A 30-year-old left-hander on here, the fourth pitcher of the night for the Cardinals. The 1-2 pitch. Nixon takes it, and it evens up at 2-2. Matheny wanted to check third, but no check up third.
4 sliders in a row to Nixon. This one did not miss by very much. No swing by Nixon.
The 2-2. Nixon pops it up. Right side. First baseman Pujols into foul ground. And there's 2 away. A very big out for Steve Klein, and he gets it.
Well, he just kept feeding slider after slider after slider, and finally gets Nixon for that little pop-up to first base. Now all infielders and outfielders can move back to their normal position. See how Nixon's opened up. Those hips are open, the shoulders flying, and the result, just a little pop-up.
Bill Miller, the 9th man to bat in the inning for the Red Sox. He is 0 for 3 tonight with a walk, and 2 for 9 in his career against Steve Klein. Ball 1 to Miller. And Miller, .224 career hitter with the bases loaded. He does have 2 grand slams. The 1-0. Miller grounds it outside of third and evens up at 1-1.
Had a pretty good pitch there. I think Miller jammed himself on that. Breaking ball really does not get that far in on Miller. Hits on top of it and hits it foul.
Garrett Stephenson, who pitched so well tonight and kept the Red Sox at bay over 7 shutout innings on 3 hits. Likely part of the decision tonight. The 1-1 to Miller. Strike 2. Klein with the 1-2. In the air to right down the line. Robinson moves over and makes the catch. And we're headed for extra frames. But the Red Sox come up with 3 in the bottom of the ninth to tie it at 3.
All tied at 3 as we go to the top of the 10th inning. Red Sox with 3 in the bottom of the ninth to tie it. Not too late to order your 2003 subscription to the Red Sox magazine, the official Red Sox magazine. Receive all 7 editions of this expanded magazine, including this spring, April, and May issues while supplies last. For details and ordering information, please send an email to soxpubs@redsox.com.
Well, the defensive changes for the Red Sox. Damian Jackson stays in at second base after running for Walker. And Jason Varitek, after his 2-run home run, takes over in behind the dish. The new pitcher for the Red Sox, Brandon Lyon.
27th game for Lyon. The record at 2-3. The third loss coming in Tuesday's game here against the Cardinals. An inning in that game, 3 hits allowed, a couple of earned runs, and did have 2 strikeouts. One of the big hits coming by Scott Rowland in that game.
So Rowland 0 for 4 in the ball game tonight. He has struck out twice. And out after the first pitch. Lyon gets it by him, 93 miles per hour. Again going upstairs. Brandon Lyon, the 5th Boston pitcher of the night. Makes quick work of Scott Rowland, who strikes out for the 3rd time tonight.
Nothing tricky either. 3 fastballs. 2 high fastballs, and this one on the outside corner.
The shortstop, number 3, Edgar Renteria.
1 away, and here is Edgar Renteria, who's had a very good night. 3 hits, including a double and 2 singles. The pinch hitters come out on deck, which would be the pitcher's spot, and that is J.D. Drew, who's grabbed a bat.
Now remember, they put Edmonds in defensively, so they lost to DH.
Oh, 2. Right now, Brandon Lyon throwing some hard stuff. Doesn't chase. 1-2 now to Renteria. Tim Wakefield, the starter tonight, went 6 innings, giving up 2 runs. And Embry, Timlin, Almonte, and now Lyon. Alan Embry giving up a solo home run to Jim Edmonds. Gave the Cardinals a bigger lead of 3-0, but the Red Sox have erased that with 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth. The right field line, Nixon moving over towards the pole, and that will go foul. Again, sent in that general direction. Foul backing out of play. 1-2.
One of the best ball games of the year here at Fenway Park, but a lot of the crowd has decided to go home.
The Jim Edmonds home run sent a lot to the exits, which was pretty surprising. The home run that made it 3-0. Originally a sellout crowd here tonight, the 10th of the season, 34,389. You're right, a lot have ducked out. Up the middle and into center field. Renteria got down on the count, fouled some off, and gets his 4th hit of the night.
Now double trouble, obviously. Renteria picking up his 4th hit, but he's also got a couple of steals in this game tonight. They wanted to go away. It stayed out over the plate, and Renteria right back up the middle for the base hit.
The J.D. Drew will hit in the pitcher spot for Steve Klein here. And the numbers for Drew: 327, 7 homers, and 19 runs batted in. In the air to right field. That ball is back, and that ball is gone. A pinch hit, 2-run home run for J.D. Drew. And the Cardinals take the 5-3 lead.
Well, a lot of guys will tell you when you're a pinch hitter, just go up and be aggressive. And I guess J.D. Drew was aggressive here. First pitch, fastball. And very quickly, 2 more runs on the board for the Cardinals.
And the Cardinals fans who hung around to see this very pleased. Very deflating for Red Sox fans here, now trailing by 2 after yet another terrific comeback.
Unbelievable, Don. You know, you see Veritek pinch hit, a home run, 2-run home run. Drew comes in to pinch hit, a 2-run home run.
Red Sox should be trailing by 2 at the very least in the bottom of the 10th inning, and it'll be Giambi again to lead it off. And the strike to Matheny. So Brandon Lyon looked very good against Scott Rowland, striking him out. Renteria with the single and the 2-run home run, pinch hit home run for J.D. Drew. And a full count to Matheny. Comes back to strike him out. Route number 2, 2 strikeouts now for Lyon.
Oh, and he's hit his spots, has been no problem. You see Veritek set up away, fastballs away, picks up the strikeout.
There's Kerry Robinson 0 for 4 tonight from the number 9 spot in the Cardinals order. 2 strikeouts to pop out and a ground out. Right side to Damian Jackson. And that'll do it. J.D. Drew's 2-run home run as the Cardinals on top 5-3. Now J.D. Drew has given his ball club a 2-run lead in the top of the 10th. It's on to the bottom of the 10th. And the Cardinals bring in Jeff Fassero.
Fassero last worked against the Red Sox. And that was on Tuesday. He picked up a hold in that game, 2/3 of an inning, a hit, gave up a run, 1 walk, and did not have a strikeout. Overall, for Fassero, this will be his 31st appearance of the season.
So Jeremy Giambi got it started last inning with a walk. And he leads it off here in the bottom of the 10th inning.
I thought maybe we'd see Freddie Sanchez in a pinch hitting role here.
And the left-hander Fassero in. And Giambi out there in the lefty-lefty matchup. In the air to center field. Orlando Palmeiro moving back. And makes the catch for out number 1.
Catcher, number 33, Jason Veritek.
Well, 2-run home run from Veritek last inning. A pinch hit home run at that. And it's his second at bat of tonight. Facing the left-hander Fassero. He'll bat from the right side. 2-0. Red Stephenson starting tonight for the Cardinals, going 7 shutout innings, giving up just 3 hits. Here's Ringhausen, Eldred, who blew the save. Steve Klein is the pitcher of record now, and Pissarro. 3-0 to Veritek.
Now, he does not want to obviously let anybody on. That brings up the tying run, but it also going to get you back probably to Garciaparra in this game.
There's a strike, 3-1. Omar certainly hoping he'll have another chance tonight. His 11th triple of the year in the ball game tonight. 3-2, and the count's gone full circle now on Jason Veritek.
I can't blame Veritek there. Make him throw as many pitches as possible. You got to get on any way you can. Runs the count to 3-2, and see if Pissarro can throw 3 strikes in a row.
Fouled off the right side.
Now we'll see if he can throw 4 in a row.
Well, Pissarro really kind of lucked out in that Giambi was out after that first pitch to begin the inning. And the leadoff man retired for the first out of the inning. Well, the payoff pitch. Veritek chops it towards the shortstop. Renteria throws him out, 2 down. The Red Sox are down to their last out.
Center fielder, number 18, Johnny Damon.
Well, after having 4 hits last night, Damon's had a frustrating night tonight as he's gone 0 for 5 with a pair of strikeouts. Strike 1 to Damon. If the inning continues, and it'll take something from Damon for it to. Damian Jackson waits on deck. Bunts down the first base line. Pissarro flips with the glove, and it's not in time. Damon beats it out. Pissarro can't believe it, but the Red Sox will have the potential tying run coming to the plate after all.
It looked like the flip beat him. Did Pujols come off the bag?
Tough to tell.
I'll tell you what, pretty good bunt and a pretty good play by Jeff Pissarro. He'll shuffle that ball over the first base out of the glove. Now let's see. No, I think he did beat it.
Just flat beat it.
Yep, he beat it. He got that foot on the bag before Pujols made the catch.
Number 34.
Really, the only chance Pissarro had was to use the glove like that. Nice job by Johnny Damon against the lefty. Keep this inning alive. And we will see a pinch hitter for Damian Jackson, David Ortiz. Well, Ortiz has been one of the hotter Red Sox hitters over the last couple of weeks. Ortiz against lefties is hitting .323 with a home run. And Dave Duncan, with the latest development taking place with Ortiz coming up, headed out to talk to Pissarro. He didn't look overly excited to see Dave Duncan out there to visit him. Over the last 24 games, David Ortiz has hit at .373. And you may remember the extra innings home run that he hit in Anaheim. And there he goes. Ortiz will take the ball. Up to second base goes Damon. They do not care about Johnny Damon. And the defensive indifference for Damon up to second base. Ortiz waves at that pitch, and it's 1-1. Changed his mind in the middle. Very little hoping for magic twice tonight. The Red Sox tied it up with 3 in the bottom of the 9th. Hoping to tie it up here in the 10th. The 1-1. Strike 2, and the Red Sox down to their last strike. The Red Sox already have a pinch hit home run tonight from Jason Varitek. Two and 2 to Ortiz. In the air down the left field line. Over goes Edmonds towards the corner. The ball is up. The ball is up the wall. Scoring is Damon, and Ortiz goes into second base. And we play on as the Red Sox are back within a run.
Didn't miss a home run by very much. Opposite field. Power here by Ortiz will scrape the top of the wall.
Your attention, please. Running for Ortiz.
Red Sox trailing by 1, and that gets Garcia Parra to the plate.
The tying run in scoring position, and it'll be a pinch runner, Freddie Sanchez. And again, the winning run coming to the plate. All you want in this situation is a chance, and the Red Sox have that. Nomar fouls it off himself back towards Facero, and that certainly hurt for strike 1.
And obviously no right-handed action down in the bullpen for St. Louis. Hermanson, Esteban Yan, the 2 right-handers down there, but La Russa staying right here with Jeff Facero.
Nomar has 2 home runs against Facero in his career. Former teammate. Sanchez with his lead at second base. And Facero backing off. Nomar tripled last inning to tie the score at 3. The 0-1 down and away.
Remember last time up, they stayed away to Garcia Parra. Finally left one out over the plate after a good long tough at bat, and he plants it off that center field wall.
The 1-1 up for ball 2, 2-1. This has been some kind of series between the Red Sox and Cardinals. And it's going right down to the wire here in the 3rd and final game. The rubber game. The 2-1. 3-1 to Garcia Parra. Ramirez waits on deck.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I mean, now, will they intentionally walk Manny if Nomar walks? Will they intentionally walk Manny and take their chances again with the bases loaded to Millar? It's possible.
Done it once. The 3-1. There's a strike. Garcia Parra thought he had ball 4, but it grabbed the corner, according to Joe Brinkman.
Well, you know what? I'd rather have him swinging the bat. That looked like ball 4, but I'd rather have Nomar swinging the bat. That was ball 4.
Wow. Not really even close. The 3-2. Nomar sends it into right field, a base hit. Around comes Freddie Sanchez. He will score, and we're tied at 5. The throw gets away, and the potential winning run gets up into scoring position as a result. Nomar able to advance another base. The Red Sox have tied it up again tonight. In the 9th and again in the 10th.
What I tell you, Don, why walk? Nomar hits a nasty pitch too. They had Cairo playing way up the middle. He goes outside on the outside corner, not taking any chances on that one being called a strike. And look at Cairo. He's almost behind second base. Ill-advised throw. The ball's over the head of the cutoff man. That allows Garcia Parra to get in the scoring position. And he'll be walked. And Tony does not like that.
Now at first base, vacant. The obvious move here, Ramirez will be intentionally walked. 3-0 lead into the 9th for La Russa was erased. A 5-3 lead in the bottom of the 10th was erased. You can understand the dismay that he is certainly displaying in his dugout right now. The intentional pass to Ramirez.
Well, you look back again for small things, and that bunt base hit by Johnny Damon with 2 outs to get on base, keep this thing alive.
Lucero had the first 2 outs of the inning on the fly out by Giambi and the ground out by Varitek relatively easily when Damon got that bunt single to get it started. Now Millar tied at 5 in the bottom of the 10th inning. An unbelievable ball game tonight from Fenway Park. And Pissarro missing wildly with the first one. He certainly has to be rattled by the recent events that have taken place in this inning. And nobody warming behind him at all. The winning run standing at second in Nomar. And a strike to Millar, 1-1. The Red Sox did not score in this game until the bottom of the 9th inning. And they scored 3 times. They've scored 2 more here in the bottom of the 10th and hoping for more. 2-1. 34,389. What's left of them standing as they will now intentionally walk Millar with a count 2-1.
No surprise here. You got Nixon on deck. You got nobody left on the bench. I thought maybe Tony might have done this right from the get-go, but instead he waits till the count goes to 2-1 and now puts him on. So Nixon will get another crack.
The winning run again in this series will be standing at third base with 2 outs in the bottom of the 10th inning, and it leaves Pissarro no margin for error here. Any kind of wild pitch and pass ball, and this one's over. Nixon tonight 1 for 5. Last time up with the bases loaded, 1 out, he fouled out. There's a chance to atone for that. Ball 1 to Nixon.
Well, that really helps, too, because that's first pitch breaking ball. Nixon does not like the slider from lefties. See if Facero comes with a fastball. You get ahead with that breaking ball, you just keep throwing it. That throws it again.
Trying to get that rally cap going. The 1-1 off the plate and outside.
Facero a little bit more comfortable for a lefty than Klein. He's a little bit more on top.
Facero ready with the 2-1 pitch. Nixon chops it right side. Cairo will flip to second, and the Red Sox tie the ball game, but leave the winning run at third. We head to the 11th. Back at Fenway, the top of the 11th inning now, tied at 5. And an amazing turn of events here tonight at Fenway Park. The Red Sox with the defensive change. Freddie Sanchez taking over at second base now for Boston. And the Red Sox have Brandon Lyon back out there for another inning of relief. And a chance to atone for the 2-run home run, pinch hit home run that he gave up to J.G. Drew in the top half of the 10th inning. Miguel Cairo, the top of the Cardinals order to lead it off. Hopped up left side. Nomar takes care of out number 1.
Center fielder, number 16, Orlando
Palmeiro, who has 2 hits tonight, 2 for 5. 5 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for the Cardinals. 5 runs, 11 hits, 1 error for the Red Sox. The Red Sox did not score tonight until the bottom of the ninth. 2 in the ninth, 2 in the 10th. Lyon ahead here, 0-2 of Palmeiro. The always dangerous Albert Pujols waits on deck.
And he's been quiet tonight.
Look out. Yeah, he has no hits tonight for Pujols. A walk, 0 for 4. And coming into this game, hitting a whopping .391 to lead the major leagues.
And on a 12-game hitting streak.
To left center field, Giambi heading over on the run to make the catch on the warning track. A long way to go, but Giambi runs it down. 2 away.
The ball left the bat. It looked like it had a little more distance than it did, but it was a changeup, I believe, by Brandon Lyon, and Giambi able to chase it down back on the track.
Here is Pujols, 0 for 4 with the walk. Popped up into right field. Sanchez heading backward, calling everybody off, and makes the catch. In order, go the Cardinals in the top of the 11th, tied at 5. Back at Fenway, tied at 5. Ready for the bottom of the 11th inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Brandon Lyon. Jeff Facero returns to the hill for the Cardinals, back out there for the bottom of the 11th inning. And he will face Bill Miller, Jeremy Giambi, and Jason Varitek here in the bottom of the 11th inning. Well, the Red Sox average 6.23 runs a game, and they would very much like their 6th run tonight as they come into this Bottom of the 11th inning, tied at 5. Miller sends it to left. Edmonds on the run will make the catch. A terrific outfielder who got a great jump and makes the running catch for out number 1.
Now that defensive move was made early in the game when the Cardinals had the lead.
Number 25.
Edmonds, of course, a Gold Glove center fielder, this time playing way off that left field line, makes a pretty easy play on the line drive.
One down, Jeremy Giambi. 0 for 4 tonight with a walk. Lied out an inning ago against Facero. This time taking strike 1. Off the left side, and Giambi in the hole, nothing in 2. There's now action in the St. Louis bullpen. The right-hander up. That's probably Esteban Yan, who had been up earlier. And it is Yan. Certainly the Red Sox very familiar with him. The 0-2. Grounded down the first base line, foul.
Also action on that Red Sox bullpen if they don't get a run here. Looks like Mendoza loosening up for the Red Sox.
The Red Sox have used 5 pitchers tonight, including Brandon Lyon. And the Cardinals on their 5th. Did he go? Yes, he did. Brinkman will ring him up himself. A strikeout for Facero, 2 down in the 11th. And the first strikeout for Facero since coming on.
Remember, nobody on that bench for Grady Little. He used everybody.
Well, he used Varitek in the 9th, and Jason hit a 2-run home run, a pinch hit 2-run home run. Last inning, he grounded out to shortstop. Oh, a big cut there, fouling it off. Then a big difference batting from the right side for Varitek, batting average-wise, hitting a .375. As a right-handed hitter, .261 from the left side. Varitek pops it up. Second baseman Miguel Cairo on the outfield grass. And it's a 1-2-3, bottom of the 11th, still tied at 5. We had a lot of marriage proposals in between innings. Jerry, what's the answer?
I don't think that's legal in the state.
I don't think she's aware that you're already married. There's so many of them out there who wish they could be Mrs. Remy, but there is already one.
Yeah, what a prize she got.
Here's Ramiro Mendoza.
28th appearance for Mendoza, the second of this series. He worked Tuesday against the Cardinals, inning in a third in that game, a couple of hits, no runs, walked 1 and did not have a strikeout. Mendoza right now back on a pretty good streak last couple of outings.
Brandon Lyon went 2 innings, giving up 2 hits. The 2-run home run to J.D. Drew. He didn't walk anybody. He struck out 2, and now Ramiro Mendoza becomes pitcher number 6 tonight for Boston. Jim Edmonds will lead it off against Mendoza here in the top of the 12th inning. Edmonds 2 for 5 tonight as he sends it foul off the left side. He homered back in the 8th inning off Alan Embry. down. Millar there, and he'll take it alone. 1 down.
Hang tied, trying to prevent the double. Millar right on that first base line, and the ground ball from Edmonds right at Kevin Millar.
Number 27, Scott Rowland.
Well, the Red Sox have had 14 come from behind victories this season. There's a strike to Scott Rowland. And then we'll even up at 1-1. Sox in extra innings this season, 3 and 4. Rowland batting now. Edgar Renteria waiting on deck. Grady hasn't been sitting for a very long time. A lot of standing going on over the last few innings. 2-2 to Rowland. He's calmed down here a little bit after a 3-0 lead and a 5-3 lead that he's seen erased. Well, thought about it, but didn't pull the trigger, and it's ball 3.
A lot of umpires right behind home plate on that pitch.
Cardinals will head to New York tonight whenever this game is over. Ball 4, and Mendoza walks Rowland. He's ahead of him, and he loses him here. Rowland down to first base. With Edgar Renteria coming up, he's had a great night.
Shortstop, number 3.
4-hit night for Edgar Renteria.
Let's see if they put a play on here with Renteria at the plate. Sinker ball pitcher.
On the ground to third. Tough hop up off Miller. Tries to stay with it, but has no play by the time he captures it. He broke to his left after it kicked off him. And Rowland up to second base. 2 on, 1 away.
Probably go as a base hit, I would think. This ball looked like it bad hopped Miller. Looks like he's in a good position to make the play. Now watch the hop. Big up on the shoulder.
Number 21, Tino Martinez.
Not much you can do about that. Tino Martinez coming up the pinch hit for the pitcher's spot. Of course, the last time that spot came up, it was J.D. Drew with the home run. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Taking the helmet off.
They announced him. And now we'll see Wilson Delgado come out here.
That was the trainer that was talking to Tino Martinez. You have to wonder if maybe his health, the reason that he's not out there to pinch hit.
I didn't notice if he was out there ever. Was he ever out there on deck, maybe taking some hacks?
I don't know if he was announced. I mean, he was announced by the PA system, but
I wonder if he was ever in the on-deck circle.
Barry Weinberg, who has been with LaRouche for a long time. He was with him in Oakland. So it's going to be a Delgado that's going to come out, it looks like, and pinch hit.
Number 47, Wilson Delgado.
So Delgado bats with 2 on, 1 away here in the top half of the 12th inning. Just a 171 hitter this season, and he steps in as a pinch hitter.
I think they gave a hit too to Renteria on that, and gives him 5 hits tonight.
And it's 1-0. They did indeed. It is the 12th hit of the night for the Cardinals and the 5th for Edgar Renteria.
I'll be honest with you, Don, I don't know whether they scratch Martinez off the list or not. I don't know if he was ever announced to the umpire.
Swung on and missed, and the count is 1-1. How does that work? You're introduced by the PA, but that's not the official end of the game situation. I wonder how that works.
Yeah, you have to player or coach or manager has to notify the home plate umpire, then he notifies the official scorer.
The runners are off. Swinging and missing is Delgado, and now the go-ahead run just 90 feet away.
Wow.
So the double steal here.
And no contest at all. Veritek wisely not even throwing the ball.
So now the infield coming in.
Yep.
With 1 out in the inning, the Red Sox infield all the way around in. Chopped to short. Nomar charging, throwing, and out at the plate. Scott Rowland retired. The infield brought in, and Nomar to the plate to throw him out.
Well, they got the contact play on, and the only way you're not gonna score is if the ball is right at somebody, and that ball was right at Garciaparra. Watch him charge the ball, play it on the hop, and then make the throw at home plate. What a play! I'll tell you what, Garciaparra has set some kind of end to this game, offensively and now defensively. Rowland tries to get him with the hand, he can't do it, and the Red Sox cut down the potential go-ahead run.
He got a face full of dirt for his trouble.
Well, now the right-hander up with 2 outs. If he gets down in the count, you've got to be very careful about the possible double steal. You've got speed at third, and Renteria, that's where you need it.
So Mendoza in a jam here. And he starts off ahead. Renteria down that third base line. A good sized lead shortens it now. The 0-1. Chopped right side. Sanchez, the youngster, will throw out Matheny to end the inning. Then the Red Sox get out of a major jam in the 12th. 5-5. Bottom of the 12th inning, the Red Sox and St. Louis Cardinals tied 5-5. And the Red Sox will face a pitcher they have faced plenty of times over the years, Esteban Yan.
Yeah, he's the guy that was down at Tampa Bay for quite some time. This year started at Texas, was involved in a trade for a guy that's familiar to New Englanders, Rick Azadorian. Texas and the Cardinals making that swap. Yan, 7 appearances, a record of 1-0, but the number's not that terrific here for the Cardinals.
He got his first win with the Cardinals last Friday night. He'd allowed the go-ahead run to the Baltimore Orioles in the top of the inning, and the Cardinals came back with a come-from-behind victory, and he was credited with the victory.
Oh, it's been a good game. This is the best game of the year.
Certainly is.
There's been all kind of stuff going on. Contact plays, triples, good defensive plays, pinch hit home runs, bunch by Johnny Damon to get things going.
Johnny Damon in the top of the Boston order to lead it off in the bottom of the 12th inning. Strike 1. Damon had been 0 for 5 before getting that bunt single that Jerry just mentioned moments ago. Down 0-2 is Damon. And he stays alive. And Freddie Sanchez waits on deck. He will bat second in the inning for the Red Sox. We're going to hit a double here the other night off the wall in left field. One and two now to Damon. Look out. Jan, who can get wild, is wild for the last two pitches to even up the count at 2-2.
Yeah, it happens so often. I mean, he throw two pitches in, not even close to the strike zone, and a lot of times they'll come back. Now they'll paint the outside corner or something.
He was in and out of the closer's role with Tampa Bay over the last couple years. The 2-2. Damon chops it right side. Over goes Cairo, who throws out Damon for the first out of the inning. I remember going to Tampa Bay a few times where the patience of Hal McRae, which was it turned out to be a very patient man in the end. Jan was either the closer or he wasn't on a couple of occasions, and we would go in there. And Jan has bounced around some since. Freddie Sanchez 3 for 7 with the Red Sox this season. He's called up from the Pawtucket Red Sox. And a pinch hit double here yesterday. Grounded left side. Renteria takes the hop and throws out Sanchez. 2 down. Well, here comes the guy that has had 2 hits over the last couple of innings. The triple in the ninth to tie the score at the time at 3. And a single in the 10th. And Garcia Parra batting with the bases empty. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 12th.
455 hitter against Jan with 1 home run.
Jan at 94 miles per hour that time. Didn't get it up there in a hurry. And it jumps ahead of Nomar 0-2. Jan, the 6th St. Louis pitcher tonight. Nomar lines it right to Renteria, and the Red Sox go 1-2-3 in the 12th, tied at 5. Back at Fenway, tied at 5 into the top of the 13th inning. And Ramiro Mendoza is still out there as he's out there for his 2nd inning of relief. Got himself out of a pretty major jam last inning. And we'll face 9-1-2 in the Cardinals order in the top of the 13th. Kerry Robinson, Miguel Cairo, and Orlando Palmeiro. Robinson is 0 for 5 tonight from the number 9 spot.
Anytime you get this deep into a ball game, obviously the bench is just about gone. I think La Russa, I know he has Girardi left. We still don't know about Tino Martinez. I don't think he was ever announced. And pitching wise, he's got Dustin Hermanson left. and Calero, but he pitched a long time last night. For the Red Sox, they're wiped out on the bench.
Into left field, a base hit. 0 for 5, Kerry Robinson until now. A leadoff hit here in the top of the 13th inning.
Slaps the ball in the opposite field. That ball good 2-3 inches off the outside part of the plate. Picks up his first hit. Now Cairo, I'm sure, will be bunting here to try to get a man in a scoring position.
So in on the grass at third is Bill Miller, anticipating that bunt. And as a throw to first, he was heading to square to bunt. Red Sox hopeful they can get the lead runner in this exchange. It starts to lightly rain again. The bunt back towards the mound. Mendoza just looks to first and throws him out. So Robinson up into scoring position. Sacrifice bunt going 1-4 with Sanchez covering first base.
Well, they've tried all the little things the Cardinals have here in extra innings. They've had a double steal. They tried the contact play with the man at third. Now the sacrifice to get a man in a scoring position.
Orlando Palmeiro, 2 hits in the ballgame tonight, a couple of singles. He will get the first crack here with 1 out and a runner in scoring position. And after him, Albert Pujols, who's been silenced all night. Eerily quiet has been Albert Pujols tonight. 0 for 5 with a walk, waiting on deck.
This guy scares me against Mendoza. He's a pretty good low ball hitter, of course, and Mendoza, sinker ball pitcher. That time Veritek had that sign up and in.
Two and 1. Orlando Palmeiro with 1 home run this season. And of course the different signs with the runner at second base for Veritek. Chopped right side. Millar has it. He'll take it alone, but with the ground ball to the right side on to third base. And just 90 feet away goes Kerry Robinson. And now 2 outs in the top of the 13th inning. And the guy who has the highest batting average in the major leagues coming into this at bat. First base, he is open, and Grady Little heading to the mound.
Well, when we look at Mendoza's numbers against right-handers, they're hitting .423, lefties .267. That's coming into today's game.
Well, if you look at it that way, then I guess the decision is simple, perhaps.
You walk Pujols and take your chances with Jim Edmonds. And how long can you keep Pujols down?
Guy hitting .391 coming into tonight's game, 0 for 5 with a walk. And we'll see how they're going to handle this situation. Russo wants to know how they're going to handle this situation. And Veritek is still standing. Intentional pass here for Albert Pujols. And Jim Edmonds, a left-handed hitting Jim Edmonds. They'll go after here with 2 outs in the inning. So the intentional walk.
Left fielder, number 15, Jim Edmonds.
And the Red Sox will go after Jim Edmonds, who homered back in the 8th inning off Alan Embry.
Will they go after him, or will they walk him and go after Roland? Veritek giving signs to his middle infielders on what he would do in case of a possible double steal. So it looks like they are going to go after Edmonds.
There's an extensive series of signs. Change things in a hurry. A nice play by Veritek to elevate. Mendoza's had to throw 29 pitches since coming on. In the air to left, and that will take care of that. A 3-run home run for Jim Edmonds, his second home run of the game. And a deflating 3-run home run at that gives the Cardinals an 8-5 lead in the 13th.
Well, there you go. There's the decisions you have to make as a manager. And the decision that time going with percentages, even though Pujols was having a rough night tonight, they walk him, they go to Edmonds, and Edmonds to the opposite field. Well, you talk about a guy that has a Fenway Park stroke from the left side. My goodness.
There's a better feeling for a hitter than when you've been intentionally walked to get to you, and then you're able to do something like that. Scott Rowland. And then the breaking ball missing, 1-1.
This is unbelievable.
Two great comebacks tonight by the Red Sox. Once in the 9th and again in the 10th. Chop to third. Miller from deep third throws out Rowland to end the inning. Ramirez, Millar, and Nixon expected in the bottom of the 13th. Back at Fenway Park, the St. Louis Cardinals with a 3-run top of the 13th inning to take the 8-5 lead. Well, the Red Sox came back from 3-0 to tie at 3-3. They came back from a 2-run deficit down 5-3 to tie at 5-5. How many times can they go to the well tonight? We'll find out as Manny Ramirez makes his way to the plate. But a big 3-run home run by Jim Edmonds off Ramiro Mendoza in the top of the 13th inning. Esteban Yan, who had a 1-2-3 12th inning, back out there for the bottom of the 13th. And a chance for him to secure his second victory with the Cardinals. He's walked 4 times tonight, twice intentionally. And it's now 2-1 to Ramirez. Ramirez, then Millar and Nixon to face Esteban Yan here in the bottom of the 13th inning. Three and one.
I'll tell you what, if Tony La Russa starts seeing base runners again with the lead, he may snap in that dugout.
strike to Manny late from Brinkman on the call. Ramirez took a step towards first. As upset as Tony La Russa was down there, I can't even imagine what Lou Piniella would have been like in the same type of situation.
Well, they're both very, very intense. I think just Tony, well, I can't say he's more calm. I think inside's about the same as Lou.
The payoff pitch. Ball 4. There's the 5th walk of the night for Manny Ramirez. Again, 2 intentionally, but a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 13th.
I guess the Red Sox would say in their dugout, we got him just where we want him.
That's the last thing in the world you really want from Esteban Yan there. You're just taking a 3-run lead, and the first guy you face here, you walk. Kevin Millar. He's walked 4 times tonight.
Yeah, how about that? Your 4 and 5 hitters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 walks between them.
Foul back to the backstop, 1-1. Manny Ramirez, the lead man on here in the bottom of the 13th inning. Yan, who can get wild in a hurry. The count of 1-1. On the ground, a fair ball down the line. Will kick off the boxes. Ramirez will have to stop at second with a play in front of him. Edmonds gathers it. With the Red Sox with the first 2 on, and again with a chance as the potential tying run coming to the plate in Nixon. This is amazing.
Well, that quickly before you even get an out, the Red Sox will bring the potential tying run to the plate. Right over the third base bag. Fair call by Fletcher, the third base umpire. Ball Caron's back out, and only 1 base for Ramirez up to second.
Nixon 1 for 6. 0 for 2 since the 9th inning. To right field line. That'll get in for a base hit. Coverage will send Ramirez. He will score. On to third goes Millar, and there's still nobody out. It's now 8-6.
Off come the glasses, and out comes Tony.
I'm thinking he means all business here now that he's discarded the glasses. Bill Miller will be next after this conference at the mound ends, and the conference includes everybody in the infield. And La Russa heads off. This has been some kind of game here tonight, and the Red Sox are not quite finished yet.
Well, does Miller sacrifice and get the potential tying run to second, or do you let him swing? Coverage asks him to step out. He's going to flash some signs now.
The idea changed there very late.
It's a tough call, you know. I mean, you call a sacrifice, you get the 2 men on, but you might be helping out Yan, giving him an out.
Yeah. Would attempt it. Did he go after it? No. We'll check at third. Fletcher says he did not punch at it. You then have Giambi and Varitek after Miller with nobody out here. The 1-0 is squaring, pulls back 2-0, and Yan right now behind 2-0. You take it off now?
What I would do is I would put on a take sign. See if he can throw a strike first.
Jabs at it, fouls it off at the dish. 2-1. More signs from Cubbage. Millar at third, Nixon at first. The 2-1 to Bill Miller, squaring again and getting out of the way of the 3-1.
Same thing. I do the same thing here. Put on the take sign. See if he can throw strike 2. Can always bunt again on the 3-2 count, right?
Have that option, and Jan all over the place. The 3-1 to Miller, who swings away, chopped right side to second for one, on to first, the double play. In from third comes Millar. And it's a one-run game, but now the bases are empty as a result of the double play.
Well, Grady gambling that time on the 3-1 count, letting him swing away, ends up in a double play. 2 huge outs. And it leaves the Red Sox trailing by 1.
And Giambi out after the first pitch.
Oh, there are going to be some questions after this one.
It evens up now 1-1. Well, the count 3-1. At least you're hoping there that he gets a good pitch to hit, but you run the risk of what just took place. Two runs here in the bottom of the 13th inning to get Boston back within 1. Down to their last strike in this epic 13-inning game. And it's up and away, 2-2.
Well, the way this one's going, you'd expect a home run from Giambi.
Certainly would not be out of the realm of possibility with what's gone on here tonight. Jeremy does have 5 home runs this season. Does not have a hit tonight. 0 for 5 with a walk. The 2-2. 3-2. On deck, a guy who hit a home run earlier, a pinch hit home run, a 2-run shot, Jason Varitek. But it'll take something from Giambi for us to continue. The payoff pitch. Ball 4, and we do continue. Another walk for Jan, the second of the inning. Well, St. Louis's pitchers have done everything they can do to help out the Red Sox.
Jan has just tried to give it right back to him. He's tried everything possible to give it back to him. The double play really hurt.
Varitek with a pinch hit home run in the 9th. He's 1 for 3 in the game. Bouncing in, and it skips away from Matheny. Up to second goes Giambi.
Wow.
And the tying run instantly in the scoring position.
Major league pitching.
Two infielders starting to come in to talk to Jan.
Absolute gift here. The wild pitch that moves the potential tying run into scoring position.
And now, with first base open, they're going to intentionally walk Varitek. Damon waiting on deck. So they'll put the potential winning run on base.
Well, La Russa watched Varitek hit that home run to tie the ball game back in the 9th. Damon, with the exception of the bunt in the 10th, has had a difficult night.
A 4-hit night last night for Johnny. Tonight, the bunt single in the 10th. And he's headed up there 1 for 7 in this ball game. The potential tying run in scoring position. The potential winning run standing at first. 2 down, bottom of the 13th inning. Damon swings at the first one and fouls it off. Esteban Yan has had to throw 37 pitches from the St. Louis bullpen tonight. 18 of those 37 for strikes. Up and away, 1-1. Hey, patience is a virtue in some ways against Yan as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, the more pressure, obviously, you put on a guy like Yan who has control problems, the less chance he's got of throwing strikes.
A 1-1 to Johnny Damon. In the air down the right field line. On the move comes Robinson over towards the seats to make the catch and finally end this one in 13 innings. The Red Sox leave 2 on in the bottom of the 13th inning. They come up with 2 runs, but it is not enough. The Cardinals hold on and get out of here by the skin of their teeth, winning this one 8-7.
Well, the Foxwoods chance play of the game, Jim Edmonds' home run after the intentional walk to Pujols. Edmonds in the 13th inning with the 3-run home run. And the Cardinals end up winning it by 1. The Foxwoods chance play of the game.
Well, the Red Sox in front of 34,389. Their record now 36-28 as the Cardinals take 2 out of 3. Esteban Yan 2-0 with the win. Ramiro Mendoza falls to 1-3 with the loss. We'll step aside from Fenway on the other side. WB Mason's extra innings coming up next from Fenway.